humble, sit down, be humble, sit down, be humble, sit down, be humble.
And welcome in Out of Bounds here on 103.7 The Buzz. Appreciate everybody listening in on this beautiful day here in the great state of Arkansas. John Nabors, Joe Franklin, broadcasting live from the Hoggs Meat Market Studios with you today. And thank you, as always, for making us a part of your afternoon. This afternoon, it is a wide open Wednesday here on the show, folks. So anything in the sports world that you want to talk about, let's talk about it. You can call or text in at 501-661-1037. Get after us in the Asher Record Live fan feedback. After me on Twitter at BuzzJohnNeighbors. And today, going to have Pat Bradley joining us thanks to Motorsports Authority. Always looking forward to catching up with old PB, talking about everything happening in the sports world. We'll have a Razorback update also with Andrew Ellis, too, as we're starting to figure out some things when it comes to Arkansas and the injury report, and especially about Rocket Sanders and whether or not he's going to play this game against LSU. So we'll have some thoughts on that, too. And, of course, all the stuff going on in the sports world with what's trending in the world of sports. And we'll have some fun, too, with a new contest that we're going to be doing here on 103.7 The Buzz. We'll get you some more details on that as well. But it's a lot of fun, though. I mean, you're starting to feel the weather's getting a little bit cooler out there, especially when it comes to the fall weather, a little overcast, and so you get closer to the month of October. It's not only when the weather is also really in full swing of the fall, but also when football is in full swing, and even have with this weekend, it's just, I don't know, it doesn't feel right. Arkansas LSU in September just doesn't feel right. I like the November. I like the coldness. That's when I feel like it's always Arkansas LSU, and I don't know. September's still just a weird feeling for that.
Got to get used to what's going on with the SEC, especially next year's schedule when teams are added. There may be some more shakeups as far as how the schedule goes.
Yeah, which, I mean, it's not like you can do anything about it or complain about it. No one will listen if that's the case. But yeah, I would just start thinking about man, LSU week in September, so early. It's a wild one, but still a rivalry game, if you will. It's still the battle for. Is it battle for or battle of the Golden Boot? It's battle for the Golden Boot.
It has to be for battle of the Golden Boot.
Yeah, it sounds good. Yeah, battle for the Golden Boot is the way we'll say it, at least here on this show. But yeah, it's a rivalry game, trophy game, and everything. And I actually started thinking about it, Joe, and some of the iconic moments and things that have happened for Arkansas in this particular game in the series, and since they joined the SEC. And I think in '96 is when it became like an official rivalry, or at least it was dubbed that. But I started thinking about like when you think of this game and you think of the battle for the Golden Boot, like, is there like one thing that immediately pops up as far as a player or a coach or a game or a moment or just some sort of memory that Arkansas LSU football, like what's the first thing you'll always think of?
Matt Jones, Miracle on Markham.
Yeah, I think that's probably where most people will be thinking of it, will be that play.
And thing about that game also is, Matt has been questioned about that game so many times over the years, and he said that was one of the worst games that he played from a passing standpoint. The weather was bad, couldn't complete a pass all day, and then it comes down to that final play where it looks like you have no shot and you complete the pass that needed to be completed.
That's like my favorite thing ever in sports right there. It just sums it up. That how many people do you think you could just walk up to, Razorback fans, and say, hey, what do you remember about that game? And they'll tell you details about, yeah, and what about Matt Jones? Like, oh man, he was awesome in that. But they'll only remember the drive. They probably don't even know that he played poorly in the rest of the time. They don't care. Yeah.
And that's why he did point it out that, he didn't feel good about his performance during that game, but at the end, they got the win.
Yeah, because that's the only thing that anyone will ever care about. And it's just a perfect example of it. Because, like, imagine if Matt didn't have that drive at the end and they didn't go down the field and win that game and go on to play in the SEC championship. Then everyone would remember, man, yeah, Matt he was terrible that game. He didn't play well. He was the reason we lost. And we were right there. Could have been all of that. But instead, it's like the greatest, because it only matters about if you win, and people will not remember anything about the negatives or the bad. And that goes for not only games, but for seasons. So it's the same thing in that game. But I'm with you as far as that's the game I remember, but for a different reason, because I actually wasn't watching it. And I was telling Acree about this beforehand. I was here in Little Rock, or in Central Arkansas, because it's always was Thanksgiving, like Thanksgiving weekend. Always had that Thanksgiving at Rabbit Ridge. And then on Black Friday, the people do the shopping and whatnot. Well, my dad and my brother-in-law got to go to the game. I didn't. Me and
You
my
were at
brother
Walmart?
didn't. Yeah, no, I was. Oh yeah, we were at Walmart. We were at Dillard's. We were at the mall, driving around. Like, oh, it was just, it was so annoying because I knew, like, as a kid, like, what's on the line. It's like an SEC title, like an SEC, or at least a chance to win an SEC title is on the line. So didn't get to go, and so we were all over the place driving around. I was trying to listen to it in the radio. My brother's like, he doesn't handle like, he's one of those people that if they start doing bad, he like turns it off. Like, he's just so mad. He doesn't want to watch it anymore. So he kept trying to, when Arkansas was playing so bad, kept telling my mom to turn it off. And it was just one of those days when we were driving around. But anyways, I kept wanting to listen to it though.
I thought your brother went to the game.
No, brother-in-law. Sorry. If I said brother,
okay,
brother-in-law went to the game. My
Gotcha.
brother was with me. Yeah. So like, we were driving around and we get to, my aunt used to work at, this is going to age me, but it's like, my aunt worked at Mailboxes, etc. in Conway. And we had this, like, they didn't have a TV in there or anything because it's 2002. No, it wasn't a common thing. But I had to go and find a radio that she had in the building, go in the back and like plug it in and listen to it. And the time I was listening to it was the final like drive, like the final couple of plays. And then
the best part.
Yeah. So all I think about though is I think of Paul Eels, like, because that's what I heard and that's what I remember hearing about. And of course, his great call on it too. It was just it was a really cool moment. And then I think my family it was in a shopping center and they were like down across the way. So I ran down there and told them. But anyways, like, it's amazing how, you had to go and try to find ways to listen to the game or pay attention to the game, where nowadays you just get on your phone. But still, that's like always what I'll remember is that game, that moment, where I was, how it all went down, because not only was it an iconic moment in this series or in this rivalry, but just in general in Arkansas Razorback football was great.
And then some of the Petrino years and having success against LSU, some of those stand out with the run by Darren McFadden.
Oh, yeah.
There's certain moments in games. The Ryan Mallett complete pass to Kobe Hamilton. There are some moments that the Razorbacks had for sure.
Yeah, and it wasn't even always just at home and or in War Memorial or in Fayetteville or whatever. It was a lot of them were on the road. The 07 game, #1 team LSU. You go on the road in triple overtime with McFadden and Jones and Hillis and beat them. And at the time, thought that you dashed their national championship hopes, but luckily Missouri and West Virginia lost the next weekend, so they got to get in. First 2-loss team ever to win the championship in the BCS era for LSU.
There'll be more to come
once
they expand the playoff.
Yeah, thank goodness. But you took care of business there, and then in 2015, that year, which I know though it wasn't maybe as iconic as some of the other games, but you went on the road to Baton Rouge and cleared out Death Valley at night, like, because you were beating them by the 31-14, and it was a big deal. Or the crowd started leaving. I think LSU was like number 8 in the country, something to that extent. So there's been some really good moments. Not only
recently, Cam Little taking the game-winning field goal.
Yeah, doing the gritty there on the LSU logo, which was pretty iconic. Because that game went to overtime, right? I think.
Yes.
Yeah, it was an overtime game. When they kicked it, and
or did it? Because they won by a field goal.
They did, because LSU got the ball first in overtime. They threw a pick in the end zone, and I believe it was Greg Brooks, which we'll talk about him and some of the situation he's in, which is pretty sad. But I think Greg Brooks picked it off, and then they got the possession and ended up kicking a field goal right down the pipes for Cam Little. But so that was the last time that you beat LSU, and 3 straight games against these two teams, which have ended in a 3-point game, one way or the other. So it's just
we expected to be that close this time around. How's everybody feeling?
Yeah,
you expecting the 3-point game?
Yeah, well, I guess let us know if you're feeling that 3-point game, guys. I think Bet Saracen had it open up at 18.5 was the line, and I think it's moved pretty significantly. Where now I think it's at 17. I'll have to double check that, but people at least feeling that it might be a closer game than 18 points. But as weird as it is to say, I'm not going to pick Arkansas to win, but if they only lost by 3 points. I don't like moral victories, but it's like that'll be better than what I'm expecting. Like I expect this game to be pretty well done by LSU, and we'll win the game.
Give them the pick away already. Huh?
Yeah, well, just a little tease, a little taster to it. Yeah, but
by the time Friday comes, it's going to be Arkansas is going to rally together. They're going to pull it off. They're going to win this game.
They're going to get the troops together. They're going to go down there and they're going to knock them off. Yeah, give it time. It may happen, but. Yeah, I think it's going to be closer than 18 points. I'm hoping so, because if it's a blowout city, if it's a dominating performance by LSU, again, losses are losses no matter what, but that's going to be a pretty devastating thing to come off of that heartbreaking loss to BYU and follow it up with just getting your taints handed to you by LSU down in Death Valley, which it is possible because LSU is a really, really good team. Got a lot of really good players, a lot of highly talented players. And honestly, one of the strengths that LSU has is that defensive line, which is really good. And we know that Arkansas's offensive line has struggled. So that could be right there. The difference in this game is just if LSU's having their way with Arkansas's offensive line, it ain't going to be good for them at all.
Yeah, matchup of the trenches, that's always vital in a lot of games. And, with this one specifically, then Arkansas needs to be able to figure out a way with skill position players on the outside and maybe get those running backs involved in not only the running game, but some passing.
Yeah, just try to be creative with it. If you're having problems with the offensive line and them getting to KJ, then have some quick passes, do some more RPO. Try to figure out some way, somehow, to keep it honest with that LSU defensive front because it doesn't matter how good your defense plays or how much they keep them in check. Can't win, can't score. And LSU's got a defense that's going to do whatever they can to keep Arkansas from scoring. But it's going to be an electric night there in Death Valley, 6 o'clock on a Saturday night. And it's going to be on ESPN, which is crazy. It's got, Chris Fowler, Kirk Herbstreit, the A-team, going to be calling the game. How about Kirk going from because where's the game, the NFL game tomorrow again on M's?
It is in San Fran. It's the Giants and Niners.
Right. So you're talking about going from San Francisco, flying out Friday, then he goes to College Game Day, which is at Notre Dame, Ohio State, and then he goes down to Baton Rouge. And he's also on that Friday going to his son's football games. That guy's everywhere, man. He's flying all over the place. But that's why they pay him the big bucks.
Great benefits there.
Mm-hmm. That's why they pay him the money, that's for sure. But, yeah, we got a lot to talk about here on a Wide Open Wednesday. Brent, Brian, we'll get to you guys. I know you're on the phone lines. We'll handle those phone calls. We got some people who are texting in as well as on Southern Structural Solutions text line. And we'll keep it moving here on a Wide Open Wednesday. What do you make of this matchup? And also, when you think of the miracle, or not Miracle on Markham, that's what I think of. But when you think of the battle for the Golden Boot, what is the first thing that comes to mind? Let us know. 501-661-1037. More Out of Bounds coming up next.
Listen for birthday trivia in the zone, brought to you by Elia's Mexican Grill. Headed to the hill, take exit 108 from either direction for award-winning Mexican food made fresh every day. Elia's in Morrilton.
This is Sports Center.
The Major League Baseball playoffs start in less than 2 weeks. So far, 4 teams have punched their tickets. In the AL East, both the Orioles and Rays are in. Then the NL East winning Braves and winners of the NL West, the Dodgers, are also in, so 8 spots remain open. In both the NL and the AL, it's going to come down to the wire. In the National League, the Phillies, Diamondbacks, and Cubs will be your wild card if the postseason started today. But the Marlins and the Reds are within a game of the Cubs for the final wild card spot. In the American League, the Blue Jays, Rangers, Mariners, and Astros are all within a game of each other. Only 2 wild card spots remain in the AL, as either the Rays or the Orioles will get the first wild card, depending on who finishes second place in the AL East. And the Arkansas Travelers opened postseason play with the win last night, beating the Springfield Cardinals 3-1. They can clinch the best-of-3 series tomorrow. I'm Christian Weaver with the Buzz Radio Network.
I know the last 3 years, people have got accustomed to paying sticker price for a brand new vehicle. Well, it's not that way anymore at Red River Ram. If you're looking for a new Ram truck, we've got heavy-duty four-wheel drive trucks starting at $49,500 or up to $12,000 off sticker price for a Cummins diesel. And we've got $11,000 off Ram 1500 Bighorn four-wheel drive trucks. If you want the best selection and the best buying experience, make that beautiful drive right here to Heber Springs. Now during Ram Power Days.
Pat Bradley for Brewskis, the best place to catch all NFL action in the #1 sports bar 4 years in a row. We got plenty of TVs and the legendary Brewskitron. There isn't a bad seat in the house. Monday night football doubleheader. Saints versus Panthers, Browns versus Steelers. And Thursday night football, Giants take on the 49ers. NFL Sunday kicks off at noon with Gridiron Brunch and Sunday Funday drink specials starting at 11 a.m. Next Monday's doubleheader Monday Night Football, Philly, Tampa, LA, and Cincy. Check us out online, brewskispubandgrub.com. Brewskis, you home for lunch, happy hour, and late night.
Hi, I'm Trey Reed from the Arkansas Game and Fish Commission, inviting
inviting you to join me every Wednesday morning for the latest news from the great outdoors. It's brought to you by Arts Marine in North Little Rock, now under new ownership, but with the same familiar faces and incredible service you've known for years. Plus, the area's best selection of boating parts and supplies.
At Southern Floor Coating, coatings are all they do, and they won't be beat on price. Factory-trained installers using the purest form of polyurea with UV stability for all your outside projects. When you call, you'll talk with a professional interested in your project, not a voicemail. Don't trust a fly-by-night company that may not be in business next year. Transform your patio, porch, or pool deck and call the real pros at Southern Floor Coating. 501-402-4912 or take a look at southernfloorcoating.com.
Stacked Commercial Truck and Trailer has 5 service trucks available, providing you on-site service to get you back on the road. If that doesn't do it, Stacked has a new state-of-the-art 13-bay shop for service and repair on all Class A trucks, trailers, RVs, light and medium-duty commercial vehicles, tires, brakes, AC, engine repair, transmissions, differentials, and driveline repair. Stacked Commercial Truck and Trailer Repair. Get Stacked, 2 miles off 530 exit 34 in Whitehall.
This year, we considered hiring an ad agency to help with our marketing.
They pitched impressive visuals and a script that was inspiring.
And exotic animal mascots to help grab your attention.
In the end, we just decided to tell it to you straight. Shelter Insurance has award-winning customer service at affordable rates.
Plus, our local agents are there to help you understand what coverage you need.
See Shelter Agent Paul Griffin in Monticello, Sam Eklund in Star City, or Kyle Stone in Pine Bluff.
Where can you find 16 cold beers on tap, the largest Irish whiskey selection in town, weekday happy hour, as well as college, pro, and even World Cup football games all on big screen TVs? Oh, and let's not forget the great food, great drinks, daily lunch specials, music on the weekends, and a private party room available with reservation. Well, of course, it's Dugan's Pub, your favorite Irish pub in Little Rock since 2010. Dugan's Pub, downtown 3rd and Rock Street. Dugan'sPubLR.com.
Make your tailgate the party of the parking lot by getting the best meats in all of Arkansas at Hoggs Meat Market, the steak people. You're listening to Out of Bounds with John Nabors and Joe Franklin.
Vaughn into the windup in his first offering. Just a bit outside. He tried the corner and missed.
On 103.7 The Buzz.
Sometimes I feel the fear of uncertainty stinging clear. And I can't help but ask myself how much I let the fear take the wheel and steer. It's driven me before, and it seems to have a very haunting mass appeal. But lately, I'm beginning to find that I should be the one behind the wheel. Whatever tomorrow brings, I'll be there.
What's happening? I had a bounce here on a wide open Wednesday. Got too busy singing the song along and doing that. But yeah, it's a great one so far, folks. Appreciate everybody listening in, and we're getting ready for the football weekend. I'm looking forward to having Pat Bradley here on with us in about half an hour. So should be good to catch up with him. So let's work through some of these phone calls that we have going on here on a wide open Wednesday. We'll have Brent, in Stuttgart leading us off. What's up, Brent?
What's up, John and Joe?
What's up, man?
Hey, Brent.
I just thought of something just today. My mind, it's scary how it works, and I want to get your guys' opinion on it. Okay, what I thought of was since Darren McFadden put his 3 great years together for the Razorbacks. Can you name one player that has been able to put 2 back-to-back really I guess Niall Davis would have been one, but that had been able to put two back-to-back really good years together without that their seasons weren't interrupted by injury.
Alex Collins?
Yeah, I was going to ask if you meant running backs in general or anybody. You mean running backs?
In general, wide receivers. I'm counting because Greg Childs got hurt. That he never was the same after that game with Vanderbilt. He would have probably been the greatest wide receiver ever to play here. But I was thinking like Dominique Reed. He had 1 year, and then he got hurt at the Kansas State game at the Liberty Bowl, and he never was the same. Got a serious injury, and then I'm looking at Rocket Sanders. He had one great year, and the way it's looking now, he won't be near the same player that he was. I'm looking at Dominique Johnson. He had a great year, then gets hurt in the bowl game, and it just seems to be the curse of the Razorback.
Well, Brent, what about Traylon Burks? I mean, he had two really good back-to-back seasons.
He had two outstanding years, and he had 1 year where he just put the team on his back.
Yeah,
it just carried us to 9 wins. You could make the case for him that year that he was the best player in the Southeastern Conference.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go ahead and tell you that.
Yeah. I mean, he would be probably the one that I'd go to, and like Ryan Mallett had two really good back-to-back years. And
you're right.
So there's a few of them.
But I just want us to be able to put some more back-to-back years, because that just kills us when I don't know I don't know what he did at the Western Carolina game that got him hurt, but that just puts a damper on our season a little bit. But there's one happy thing I told you yesterday. I can't wait till next Tuesday when Josh Braun comes back on. That'll if that doesn't brighten up anybody's day, and prayers for Greg Brooks and his family. That's just a terrible thing that he's having to go through right now, and I pray for him. And I believe it was Montaric Brown, John, that intercepted the ball.
Yeah, yep, you're right. I looked it up during the break, and you're right. Yeah, it was Buster Brown.
I could not think of his last name, his nickname last night, but it was Buster.
Yep, Buster Brown.
All right, y'all have a great day.
All right, appreciate it, Brent. Thanks for calling in. Yeah, for those of you who may just be tuning in and wondering about what he was meaning with Greg Brooks, yesterday, my days mixed up. No, Monday, Sam Pittman started the press conference that he does at noon, talking about his thoughts and prayers with Greg Brooks and his family due to a medical emergency. And everyone's like, man, I didn't really hear much about it. That was the first time I heard it. Well, now we have a little bit more detail on what was going on. And he has been diagnosed. He was diagnosed last week with a large brain tumor and had to have emergency surgery on Friday to remove the mass. And his family had released a statement kind of going through some of the things that they were wanting to get out there in the message. But they said, quote, "We are grateful for the work and the care of the medical staff helping Greg through these challenges and for the concern and love poured out by so many in the Louisiana, Arkansas, and national sports communities. This means the world to us at this difficult time. Greg continues to fight. We await further clarity on the extent of his battle." They said that the surgery did go successful and that they're just waiting on the biopsy. But just a guy that obviously played at Arkansas, transferred to LSU. People felt a certain type of way, and may have rightfully so. But man, that's just something that you never want to see anybody. And it's such a scary moment. A large brain tumor at the age of 22, 23. Just a terrible, terrible thing. But glad the surgery was successful, and hopefully Greg Brooks is on the road to recovery and will be able to make a full recovery, because I can't imagine having to deal with that type of deal in the middle of a football season, or just in life in general, especially that young.
Well, good that they were able to find it, because he's a guy that was still actively playing football this season. And so this is something that happened during the time of playing football. And that's why his family is really grateful to the medical staff, because maybe don't know if he was experiencing some things as far as headaches or whatever, but they were able to figure out what was going on with him and try to get it taken care of.
Yeah, because we talk about injuries that happen in football all the time, and stuff that just really sucks. Guys got blown out their knees and or dealing with ongoing stuff, concussions, stuff that keeps people from playing or being able to see the field, and it's awful. But this is something where it's like, hey, you don't sign up. In football, there's sometimes you sign up for there's the possibility of there being injuries. Like it's a gladiator sport. That's what it is. But this is the type of thing that nobody signs up for. Like this is not just part of football, that's nothing that anybody should ever have in being a part of their life. So it's on the brain, and in fact, it was a large mass. It's just, yeah, glad they caught it. Glad that it all worked out, and hopefully it'll be continue on to the road to recovery. But seriously, thoughts and prayers to Greg Brooks and his family, because that is a scary, scary deal for anybody. Let's go to Brian, who's in Redfield. What's up, Brian?
What's up, guys? I got 3 little small topics that I'd like to just hit on real quick. And the first one is when your offensive line is having trouble blocking people, there are 3 things as an offensive coordinator you can do to slow the defensive line down. And our coaching staff has used one of them, and I say they almost used one of them. But do y'all care to guess what those 3 things are, or you want me to move on?
Yeah, go ahead.
So you can change the snap count, which our offensive staff got to be scared to do because of all the false starts. You can move KJ out of the pocket and roll him out, which they don't do. Or you can throw screens. And we threw like 1, maybe 2 in the last game. One of them was bobbled and dropped, but they're not utilizing everything at their disposal as a coaching staff to slow the defensive pressure down on KJ. And second thing is I'd like to hit on is, did you guys notice in the Colorado State game in the overtimes that Colorado got the ball
first
in the overtime?
Yeah,
first in both overtimes.
Yeah, that was out of the ordinary. First of all, because you usually see the defense go on the field first whenever the team wins the coin toss, but Coach Prime said he wanted the offense to put pressure on Colorado State's defense. But then it does usually flip where, the last team that was on offense, they go back on offense for the next overtime, but it didn't happen like that. So it may have been one of those deals with at the coin flip, you make the call and then you can stick with that call.
I didn't understand it. I'm glad you said that. I didn't hear what you just said, but as an explanation, but that was surprising to me. But
hey, also, Brian, they went for 2 in the second overtime, which they didn't have to.
Okay, and the announcers didn't catch up on that either. And I was like, I knew they changed the rules, but I was like, I didn't think it had to be. But that's right. You're right about that too. So, one more thing. We had 14 penalties, and I think the most important penalty, but let me just say this: we had 14 accepted penalties. I think there was 2, maybe 3 that were declined. So I think we actually ended up penalties called on us was like in the 16 or 17, but we're only counting 14. But I think there was like 16 or 17. But the most important one that nobody's talking about is the one on the third, when BYU had the 3rd and 5 late in the game, and Landon Jackson had offsides and gave them the first down that ate up an extra 2 minutes of clock that we could have had that would have been very beneficial at the end of the game. But anyway, those are 3 things I'd like to hit on, and I appreciate it. I think everybody's overreacting. I think going into the Saturday's game, I think it's going to be a little bit more competitive than most people think. I think Arkansas makes it a good game. close until the very end. I think it's a one-score game.
All right.
Thanks, guys.
Appreciate
it, Brian.
Thanks for calling in.
Okay, so correction on that. As part of the modified overtime
Yeah.
rules, they do have to go for 2 in the second overtime. And after that is when they start alternating 2-point conversions.
Right. Yeah. Because that's what I was looking. I thought that was the case in the second overtime. And I guess with the deal with the start of the regulation, referee tosses a coin to determine who has the right to possess the ball first. And then the visiting captain has the right to call the toss. The winner toss chooses either play offense or defense or which side of the field to play on. Team that loses the coin toss would take them the remaining option with a chance to choose of the first 4 categories. And with the chance to choose from the first from the 4 categories in the second overtime and any future even numbered overtime. So I guess, once you lose the coin toss in that first part, you get to choose in the second whether you want to go offense or defense, I guess, is according to those rules. So it doesn't just alternate, it's whatever the team wants to do, which in most cases, I guess, makes sense of how they want to plan it. But yeah.
Well, that's surprising
overtime
that
change.
State would have put Colorado's offense back on the field for that second overtime.
Yeah, maybe they felt they had something there, but it obviously didn't work out as they ended up losing. But yeah, that was the thing there. But here's the deal, going back to Brian's points about the offense and moving the ball or whatever when you have an offensive line trouble. I think you mentioned snap count, moving KJ out of the pockets, and running some screens. I'm sure that's stuff that you'll probably see more so up against LSU. I would bet a lot of money on that. Maybe even more RPO too. Not just because, the BYU game happened, it didn't work, so we got to change it. I think it's also just because of LSU's defensive line is really good. And even as good as Arkansas's offensive line at their best, if everybody's healthy at their best, still going to struggle with that defensive line. So I'm sure the game plan this week is going to be, let's try to get the ball out faster out of KJ's hands. Let's try to run some screens. Let's try to get him moving and mobile. Try to find any sort of way to get him in a position to where he doesn't have Perkins on his backside each and every play.
Well, that's going to be part of the game plan. Know where Perkins is at all times. And LSU has been playing him in a versatile role and lining him up in different places a lot more than where he was lined up at the line of scrimmage last year. But on the other side, LSU may use Perkins to spy on KJ because he did it last year. That's what he was doing as far as he was getting after the quarterback at the line of scrimmage, but he was also there as a spy.
Yeah, and he was doing it against Malik Hornsby, which Malik was maybe didn't have the skill set of what KJ has, but I think everybody understood he was a faster player than what KJ was because Malik was very fast.
And Perkins was able to run him down as fast as he is.
So they're going to definitely learn from their experience last year and try to make it work and go in with a game plan. But, as far as the health deals go on with Rocket Sanders, I know we'll talk more about this with Andrew Ellis later in the show. But on the SEC teleconference, we did hear from Sam Pittman a little bit on the status of Rocket, and this is all he had to say, quote, "I don't have an update on his status, but I can tell you that he ran well yesterday and is progressing faster than what I thought he might, but I don't know whether or not he'll be able to play." So it's pretty much no update. Like they said that he's running well and he looks good and he's progressing faster, but still don't know for sure whether or not he's going to be going out there and playing. So, but that's going to be a key thing in this game of whether or not Arkansas is going to be, because they need all the help that they can get. Like, I'm not trying to make it be a bigger deal, but if you have a healthy Rocket, you got to play Rocket.
Well, that's one of those cases also, if you do actually know what's going on there and you're trying to work him back in slowly, you're not trying to give it away to say he's not going to play at this point.
Yeah, it could be some gamesmanship going on. Sam Pittman talked about KJ being hurt. I'm not saying KJ wasn't hurt or at least wasn't banged up going into this game against BYU. But part of me was like, you know what, maybe the coaches do that a little bit. Maybe they were saying, he's been hurt a little bit. I don't know. I really don't know. It's hard to know what exactly is the truth or not. But I think that Sam Pittman's been around long enough and going to the school of Kirby Smart, who came from the school of Nick Saban. They're going to be pretty vague when it comes to injuries on whether or not guys are going to be able to go or not.
Yeah, when you give some insight, though, into an injury, it's not like you're going to say that there's something going on when there's not anything going on. But when there is something going on as far as an injury, you're not going to disclose everything that's there.
Also from the Southern Structural Solution text line, this comes from the 501, says, "Why don't we have our guards pull on run plays to help set the edge? The tackles can't run block at all. Why not use a guard or even a fullback like Dominic Johnson to help out?"
There's an idea. There are a lot of ideas out there, and the coaching staff, they should be exploring some of these ideas, and they probably are. But people are, pointing it out because they're not seeing it. That doesn't mean that the coaching staff isn't seeing it and that they're not discussing it also, but it's not happening the way that people want it to happen.
And that's what happens when you start not having success. You start people saying, "Oh, you got to do this or do this." Well, that's what this week is for. That's what game preparation's for. This week of practice, trying to figure it out. And I guarantee you that they're going to do whatever they can to make sure that their offense is successful or as successful as possible against LSU. And it could see some of the more things that you guys are suggesting. Maybe those are the things that end up happening. Also from the Saline County Mail Slinger, haven't heard from him in a while. He says, when the Arkansas LSU game, I always think of that 07 game when I think of the Battle of the Golden Boot. I remember D-Mac saying in the post game, "We got that wood till the day I die." That's a great one too. That was more like the game was great, but the post game, I won a press conference. I guess it was like an interview or whatever on the field.
Yeah, with Houston Nutt.
Yeah,
saying that they need to look at him for the Heisman.
Yeah, Lou Holtz, Mark May, number 5. Yeah, and every time I hear that clip too, it almost makes me not sad, but like nostalgic. I was like, man, that was like, you think about that was like the biggest deal is like the call out Lou Holtz and Mark May because they were the ones on, I guess it was like College Football Final or whatever the show was called. Like they were the two dudes. That's like, hey, y'all better start talking about them. That's how like the influence of people thought that the Heisman had and everything. It's like, hey, Lou Holtz and Mark May, those two guys, you better start talking about them. Good times. I know Mark May still goes on the morning show, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I always liked Mark May and the job that he did. And because was it Reese Davis also on there with him?
Yeah, Reese was on there with him because he would do he would be the judge.
That's right. Yeah, the judge. Yeah, I forgot what that segment was called, but yeah, some sort of court was in session and whatever. Lou Holtz got mad one time, started going off about something, and then they also had Dr. Lou. I think it was with Lou Holtz. Man, I miss those days with ESPN college football and that. But yeah, that's a great comment though, and a great moment at any time saying they got that wood. Every time you hear that, you know who you're talking about. You know the game that's happening.
That's funny too to say that Lou Holtz got mad one time. That's like everyday TV now.
Yeah, so to say, if you're not getting mad, it gets boring. People don't know what's going on. Maybe something wrong with you. But we got another commercial break coming up. But when we come back, we'll have what's trending in the world of sports, presented by West Rock Coffee. You won't miss that because a lot of things happening in the world of sports, and we'll keep it moving here on a wide open Wednesday on Out of Bounds. So stay with us.
Watney Chevrolet in Jacksonville is going beyond the competition to change your current vehicle situation with Watney's exclusive loan and lease termination program.
I need your current payment, your keys, and your signature.
Call 501-982-2102 and say hasta la vista to your current ride and payment with the help of Watney's loan and lease termination program, regardless of your current financial situation.
I swear I will approve everyone.
Rates as low as 0% on new Chevrolets. Trade now and terminate your payments until 2024.
Get to Guatney now.
The loan and lease termination program is this month only at Guatney Chevrolet, 1301 TPY Drive in Jacksonville. Call 501-982-2102. GuatneyChevrolet.com. Chevrolet. Find new roads. All offers with approved credit. All voices are impersonators, but Guatney's the real thing.
Shop Guatney Chevrolet once, and you'll be back.
RJ Hawk here with Chris Roberts from Southern Bank. And Chris, I know interest rates are high right now. That's what everybody's talking about. But if you're thinking about a project, whether it be a commercial project or you want to build a house, now's the time to come talk to you about what those future plans may look like.
You know, RJ, no matter what the business environment may be, we're always there to sit down with our customers and talk about their future plans and what's going on with their businesses.
And that's one thing about Southern Bank is they're a community bank. They want to be your partner.
Partnering with our customers is a key to how we do business.
And Chris, you know, we talk about those interest rates being high, but the one good news out of that is deposit rates.
We have some great CD and checking account rates. Just give us a call and see what one of our personal bankers can do for you.
If you want more information about interest rates or those deposit rates that we just talked about, call Chris and his team today at 501-424-0900 or go online at bankwithsouthern.com. Southern Bank, member FDIC, equal housing lender.
This is David Dunn with Central Arkansas Truck and Trailer. Do you own or operate Max, Volvos, Freightliners, Kenworths, Peterbilts, or international trucks? We can offer you the same dealership level computer diagnostics, with highly trained and professional mechanics without dealership wait times and cost. Whether you're a municipality, fleet, or small business with one truck, come see why our customers have made us the highest rated independent repair shop in Arkansas. Central Arkansas Truck and Trailer. Take exit 7 on I-440 or call 568-2185.
Twin Peaks is the best in the game. Here, your favorite drafts are poured at a frosty 29 degrees, and rare barrel-aged whiskeys are served just the way you want them. It's bigger game days and bolder fight nights. I mean, where else can you find a scratch kitchen that always comes in clutch? Every day, from lunch to late night. Only at Twin Peaks, the #1 sports bar.
Stick around after the sun sets. Twin Peaks is open really late. Wind down with bourbon and late-night bites.
That's Mike saying good morning. It's the best he can do right now. Yeah, not a cloud in the sky. What Mike could use is a fresh start. And Irish Spring Body Wash. The fresh scent of Irish Spring and those sensational Irish Spring suds are just the reset Mike needs. Now he's ready
to go to work.
It's Sunday. Irish Spring. When the spring hits you, you're ready. Pick up Irish Spring today.
O'Reilly Auto Parts' new Brake Best Select Pro brand raises the bar for the best aftermarket domestic brake pads and rotors available. For vehicle-specific friction formulations, Quiet-Tech noise-canceling shims, and stainless steel hardware, choose Brake Best Select Pro. Professional-grade brakes from the professional parts people at O'Reilly Auto Parts.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Have a watch party that everyone wants to attend at your house with the best of meats in the business. Hoggs Meat Market, the steak people. You're listening to Out of Bounds with John Nabors and Joe Franklin.
Let me just quote the late, great Colonel Sanders, who said, "I'm too drunk to taste this chicken."
On 103.7 The Buzz.
If you're shopping for a vehicle, you want to get to Gwatney Chevrolet. Gwatney has best deals in the market. Been doing it 60 plus years. Give them a call, 501-982-2102. Take advantage of Gwatney's exclusive loan and lease termination program. Let Gwatney help you get out of the vehicle that you don't want and take advantage of no payments for the rest of the year when you get a vehicle at Gwatney Chevrolet. Silverados are at 0% with approved credit. And Equinox, 2.1% is available on 2023 Equinox. Make the trip to the Gregory Street exit in Jacksonville. Shop them online, GwatneyChevrolet.com. You can see all the deals, the cash allowances, the rebates, even appraise a vehicle, see just how much it's worth. They're giving thousands over book value, whether you trade that vehicle in or you sell it to Gwatney Chevrolet. Gwatney is always actively buying vehicles, so you get a great deal on a vehicle that you trade in or sell. See the entire inventory of new and pre-owned vehicles on GwatneyChevrolet.com. It's Gwatney Chevrolet, Arkansas's #1 Chevy dealer. Gwatney Chevrolet, GwatneyChevrolet.com.
It's Wide Open Wednesday here on Out of Bounds. Appreciate everybody listening. And by the way, last night I got to go over to Boutros for trivia night with Roger Scott hosting the deal. It was a pretty fun time. And our team, I think we finished third. And we'll take that all day long. But
there's some people that faithfully they're there and they win some great prizes every week.
Yep. Saw Chad over there too, and Kevin and Shannon. So quite a group there that was having some fun, and Roger does a great job with it too. But I got 2 questions right, so I'm like, I feel like that's a good contribution to the team. I got 2.
You remember what they were?
Yes. One of them was trying to remember how it was phrased, but it was like basically name Roger gave a name of these Disney movies and then a name like animated movies and the names of the characters, and you had to like match them to where they were. So like I got that one. But it was that, and then there's also again, I don't know how the question was asked, but it's about the Lindenbergs, like the baby or whatever that was kidnapped from like 30s or whatever. That's the only thing I knew about. I couldn't remember the first name. I was like Lindenberg. I just know it was that. So it was like, I mean, maybe, a little contribution there too. But yeah, I was able to get to that point. Oh, and also he was talking about the arcade video game where you use a bicycle pump you hunt monsters. Yeah. It was Dig Dug.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And like not many people got that one. And I don't I was like, man, I remember that one. That was like my dad's favorite video game on Atari, but still.
So what was the prize for third place?
I got gift certificates to Boudreaux's. So
nice.
It was really awesome. But yeah, great turnout and a lot of fun. And got Baz was there, of course, on his laptop working. So he's sitting at our table. We got to work through it too and have some fun. But it was a good time. It was a good time. So anybody who loves trivia, definitely encourage you to go out there because it's always fun every Tuesday night there at Boudreaux's. And I guess tonight is the I don't want to call it it's not the cease and desist, but it's karaoke night, right? At I believe on tonight, what I was told last night by Roger in the group, and over there at Buskers, the new place off South on Main. And if I'm wrong about that, trust me, I'm going to hear about it.
Formerly South on Main.
Formerly South on Main.
And it's on Main Street,
right?
Which it is South Main, but yeah.
Because they call it Soma, that area, right?
Yeah.
They go for the little. Yep. Okay, that's what he says. Like Buskers and Soma in the south part of Main Street. So yeah, that'll be tonight to start with karaoke. But either way, it's a really good time. Encouraging everyone to go. All right, let's go ahead and jump into what's trending in the world of sports.
What's trending in the world of sports is sponsored by Arkansas-based West Rock Coffee. Join West Rock Coffee and their 1.5 million coffee farmers around the globe as they fuel Arkansas with great tasting coffee, tea, and water delivered directly to your business. Contact them at westrockcoffee.com or 833-886-JAVA today.
All right, what's trending in the world of sports? A few things happening where yesterday we were discussing, of course, the terrible injury that happened to Nick Chubb for the Cleveland Browns, that Kareem Hunt was visiting with the Browns. Well, it's no longer a visit because now they are deciding to work out a deal where Kareem Hunt will be rejoining the Cleveland Browns at the running back position. According to ESPN.com, terms were not disclosed, but Adam Schefter does say that he has signed a one-year deal up to $4 million for the Browns this season. So worked out for him. And again, it makes sense for a guy that's been there at the team before. Just try to insert him in and see if he can make up for a lot of the loss that Nick Chubb is going to have.
And as Coach Kevin Stefanski said, you don't replace Nick Chubb, but you do what you can to try to replace some production at that position. But also you need to step up at other positions around on the team as far as being a leader on the team altogether. But on that offense, they need something more from not only running backs, but receivers. Quarterback needs to do a little bit more. It's a total team effort here.
Yeah. Well, adding Kareem Hunt, we'll see if that ends up helping out or alleviating some of that loss. But, it's good to see him back in there. Also, with speaking of offenses in the NFL, but Chicago Bears quarterback Justin Fields characterized his play in the loss to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers as robotic and said he did not feel like he was playing like himself. And he says that a reason for what Fields believes is causing him to overthink in games. Since he's only 24, he says, could be coaching, I think. At the end of the day, they're doing their job. They're giving me what to look at. But at the end of the day, I can't be thinking about that when all the game comes around. I prepare myself throughout the week. And when the game comes, it's time to play free at that point, thinking less and playing a lot more. So
he openly said what a lot of other people have been saying. You don't necessarily hear that. Sometimes you do from players calling out coaches calling out players, but it's interesting to hear it coming straight from Justin Fields. But that's the thought of a lot of people, that the coaching staff is holding him back.
Yeah, well, he's a great player. Or I shouldn't say great player because we've seen a lot of the potential that he could be a great player, and he's got a lot of reasons to be excited about being 24 years old, athletic, and can do a lot of different things with his abilities. So Bears should definitely be doing a lot more with him and be a lot better with him at the quarterback position. Now, this was a story that I've been following a little bit, but it was a crazy deal where a New England Patriots fan got involved in a fight over the weekend, which we talk about fan fights happen, first off, way too often because fan fights should never happen, but it happens all the time. Baseball, basketball, football, every time. But the crazy story with this one is that the Patriots fan who was at Gillette Stadium this past Sunday night died after the fight. And it was a scary thing because he took just 2 punches and people were thinking that that's what killed him. But after the investigation, they said that it may not have been a result of a traumatic injury, but rather a medical issue. This is according to the people that are involved there in New Hampshire. That says our investigation concluded that numerous law enforcement interviews and examination of multiple angles of the video capturing the scuffle with Mr. Dale Mooney and his collapse says preliminary autopsy results did not suggest a traumatic injury, but did identify a medical issue. Cause and manner of death remain undetermined pending further testing. So For those who are thinking that is like just a guy punched a guy and then that's what caused him to die. According to the investigation, though, it has more to do with the medical issue at this point in time. It's still just a crazy thing. This is why this fight's dumb anyways, but that's a scary deal where
You
know,
go
something
to
like
a
that.
game and that's totally unexpected.
Yeah, like who would have guessed that would be the case? And I don't know. I see him and I laugh at him because it's so dumb to me. But listen, you get some liquor in you, get some drinks in you, a little courage. Somebody's talking trash about your team, you're talking trash about their team, and blows start to happen. But
and sometimes it's fans of the same team fighting.
Yeah, that's the one that always makes me laugh even more because I'm like, man, y'all are there for the same reason. Like you're there from the same page. Right? We want our team to win, but it's always over something like somebody being too loud or
somebody standing up when everybody else is sitting down and trying to see the game.
Yep. Someone taking somebody else's seat or, just somebody doing something dumb. And then, it comes to blows. But, things like this is what's going to continue to ramp up security and trying to do whatever they can. But when there's a stadium full of, I don't know how many people Gillette Stadium holds, probably 65, 70,000 people, maybe even more. There's only so much you can do in trying to keep those people in check, but still. We'll have some other headlines to talk about as the show goes on, but we're up against the top of the hour update is coming up next. And then on the other side of the break, Pat Bradley will be joining us thanks to Motorsports Authority. It's all coming up next year on Out of Bounds, so stay with us.
Your home for Dallas Cowboys football is 103.7 The Buzz. Presented by Beechwood Pinnacle Hotels, America's team on your fun and game station, 103.7 The Buzz.
If you've been married for a while and you want him to get you a bigger diamond, you got to come to Robert Irwin Jewelers. We'll take your old diamond and we'll put it in a beautiful diamond pendant for you for free, and you could wear it around your neck forever. Robert Irwin Jewelers, now open in the Pleasant Ridge Town Center in Little Rock.
Trey Shapp and Chris Shinup with Arkansas Urology. Chris, it's the 19th annual Kickoff to Men's Health event, this time coming to North Little Rock.
Yeah, Trey, we've had a great month, and we're excited to get to our clinic in North Little Rock, 4200 Stockton Drive, on Thursday, September 28th.
Gentlemen 40 and over, it's time for them to get screened, is it not?
That's right. And like our CEO, Scott Davis, says, you come in for a free screen, and you might win a 65-inch flat screen TV.
501-263-0926 for more information. Sponsored by Baptist Health.
Listen to The Zone every Tuesday for Clint Kong. Brought to you by Farm Brothers Flying Service. For the past decade, Farm Brothers Flying Service has been providing crop dusting services to the farmers in Southeast Arkansas, and they can help you too. Call 870-263-1300.
We're live when you need us.
I think we better split up. Good idea. Yeah, we can do more damage that way.
103.7 The Buzz, KABZ, Little Rock.
Back off, man. I'm a scientist.
Buzz News with Channel 7's Ryan Houston.
The mayor of Bryant, Alan Scott, has turned in his resignation. The news comes after a former city worker filed a complaint with the Equal Employment Opportunity Commission. The Bryant City Council voted to request Mayor Scott's resignation. All 7 members who were there also cast a vote of no confidence in the mayor's leadership. In a brief news conference, a city spokesperson acknowledged the move came in response to the complaint filed with the EEOC, but declined to offer additional details. A third teen is charged with murder in connection to a Pine Bluff homicide. 17-year-old Takori McKenzie was charged in connection to the July 15th killing of Damian Pearson and the shooting of 17-year-old Archelius Glover. Pearson was found dead on the ground, and Glover was injured not too far from there. McKenzie was charged as an adult with capital murder. From the Channel 7 newsroom, I'm Ryan Houston.
Listen for NFL Hall of Fame referee Walt Coleman Wednesdays during Morning Mayhem, presented by Sigma Supply Packaging Products. Schedule a free waste audit analysis with Sigma Supply's sales manager, David Breitenberg, and see if automation is a solution to your production line issues. Online at sigmasupply.com. If you're not using Sigma Supply, you got low-grade product, man.
Weather from the Fletcher Weather Center with Channel 7's Melinda Mayo.
Scattered showers back in the forecast today, and they'll be with us for several days to come. Today's high around 87 degrees. Tonight's low 66. Just a 20% rain chance tomorrow, but back up to 30% for Friday. From the Channel 7 Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Melinda Mayo.
Fletcher Dodge wants to buy your car. We'll buy any make or model, and we'll pay you more than anyone else. Please turn your old car into cash at Fletcher Dodge in Sherwood.
Want to know about bass tournaments and some of the best fishing spots in the state? Well, listen to Fishing Arkansas Sunday mornings with Big Sarge and his crew. Fishing Arkansas is presented by Axles Plus, Arkansas River Valley Roofing and Restoration, Globe Life Everett and Associates, and Dr. Brad White at Cersei Dermatology. It's Fishing Arkansas Sunday mornings on 103.7 The Buzz.
Fellas, Clint Sterner here. Let me get your attention real quick, man. If you've noticed a lack of energy, motivation, and drive, it could be low T. What's that mean? If you want to get back to feeling your best, you need to schedule your health assessment at Low T Center ASAP. It's quick, it's easy, and now it's convenient. Low T Center offers monitored self-inject at-home testosterone treatments for $155 a month, cash pay, or covered by most health insurance. If you don't live near a Low T Center or you just need the convenience of at-home treatment, Low T Center got you. They'll ship your treatments directly to your home. Go to lowtcenter.com now to book online. Low T Center, reinventing men's healthcare.
Hey, it's Howie from Robert Irwin Jewelers, and I'm excited to announce that we've got our second location in the area now open in the Pleasant Ridge Town Center in Little Rock. If you're looking for an engagement ring, come check out the Meant to Be Guarantee. Bigger, brighter diamonds, better prices, Robert Irwin Jewelers, or online at rijewelers.com.
Your home for Dallas Cowboys football is 103.7 The Buzz. Presented by Beechwood Pinnacle Hotels, America's team on your fun and game station, 103.7 The Buzz.
What's your Oaklawn? Maybe it's lounging under a cabana at our sparkling pool, or unwinding with a massage at the luxurious Astral Spa. It could be dining in elegance, then hitting the casino for fun and high fives. And while you're here, you could explore thermal spas, dining and shopping on Bathhouse Row in Hot Springs National Park, just steps away from the resort. Discover your Oaklawn. Make reservations today at oaklawn.com. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-522-4700.
Football fans, tailgate season is here, which means it's time to score touchdowns and savings for your vehicle. At All About Tire and Brake Tire Pros, we offer incredible deals and service like your daddy used to get, with the financing options that fit your budget. With our team by your side, you'll get MVP service along with the traction and confidence you need to stay on the road. Visit us online today at allabouttireandbrake.com. All About Tire and Brake Tire Pros. Love the drive.
An ESPN Radio Extra Point with Harry Douglas.
You want to know what I'm looking forward to when it comes to Dallas Cowboys? I'm looking forward to seeing them play a Sunday night football game at San Francisco. I have that game circled on my calendar. They have been, I think personally, the second best football team in the National Football League this year. I have the Miami Dolphins at 3. I have the San Francisco 49ers at 1.
Right.
But when you have an elite defense, and I think the synergy starts with Dan Quinn on that side of the ball. He's a guy who came there 3 years ago now, if you're counting this year, and revamped a defense that a lot of people on the national media circuit was talking bad about, right? Saying that they were one of the weakest links of the football team. And he drastically turned that around. And you hear on numerous of occasions Richard Sherman singing the praises of Dan Quinn.
MVP's bonus days are back at Lowe's. Shop the largest selection of Klein tools and get 5 times the bonus points. Plus, right now, buy a DeWalt Power Stack battery kit and get a select DeWalt Bear tool free, up to a $249 value. Lowe's knows savings. Lowe's knows pros. Bonus points calculated before taxes and fees after applicable discounts, if any. Valid 9/18 through 9/29. Subject to change. DeWalt offer valid through 10/11.
Yo, 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 what's up, party people? I'm Julie Foudy. And I'm Lynn Ozawi. We host the ESPN podcast Laughter Permitted, where we have candid chats with trailblazing women in sports and beyond.
We've talked with goats like Billie Jean King, Simone Biles, Mia Hamm, Sue Bird, Candace Parker, Michaela Schifrin, just to name a few.
So grab a donut or 500 and check us out wherever you get your podcasts. And a huge shout out to our presenting sponsor, Ally, who has supported us since day one. It's Laughter Permitted.
Live from the Hoggs Meat Market Studios, this is Out of Bounds.
I just think this is as good a team as we're going to play, and I know A&M's good. I know Ole Miss good. I mean, hell, they're good. Alabama's good, but I think this will define a little bit where we're at, how we go Saturday night. We just got to really prepare hard for it. We've got a good football team. They do too, but if we get prepared, it'll be a hell of a game.
Yeah. With John Nabors.
Every time you put a mic in my face, I'm going to say Arkansas.
And Joe Franklin.
We won't go into shell. We won't go into attack mode because that's what's required.
On 103.7 The Buzz.
I know that it's good when you sit it on my taste buds. I get way too petty once you let me do the extras. Pull up on your block and break it down, we playing Tetris. AM to the PM, PM to the AM phone. Eat up your per diem, you just gotta hate them phone. If I quit your BM, I still rock Mercedes phone. If I quit this season, I still be the greatest phone. My left stroke just went viral. Right stroke put a baby in a spiral. Soprano C, we like to keep it on the high note.
1 hour down, 2 hours to go. Appreciate everybody listening in on this beautiful day here in the great state of Arkansas. John Nabors, Joe Franklin, broadcasting live from the Hoggs Meat Market Studios with you today. And thank you as always for making us a part of your afternoon this afternoon. It's been a great wide open Wednesday, and want to remind everybody that in today's show, we're going to have a qualifier for an absolutely outstanding prize. Thanks to Little Rock Tours, offering up a Southwest Classic package to Dallas for 2 people. That includes 2 tickets, a hotel room for 2 nights, and round-trip transportation to be a part of the Southwest Classic for Arkansas and Texas A&M. And in addition to that, we're also kicking in $103.70. See what we did there? For the winner to have some fun on the trip. So we're going to have some qualifiers on each and every show and one qualifier on today's show. And we'll tell you more about that as the show goes on. So if you want to get qualified, be on the lookout for that, as it's going to be a great time. But there's a lot of things that we are going to discuss and talk about. Since it is Wide Open Wednesday, it's only fitting that we have Pat Bradley on with us, thanks to Motorsports Authority. And he joins us now on the phone lines. PB, what's going on, my man?
What's up, fellas? How we doing?
Doing good, PB.
Good.
Yeah. So how's the weather change treating you so far? Has it started to really come across, maybe getting a little cooler up there for you?
It's not too cool. Of course, I think it's always welcoming, as you guys know, to chill things off a little bit. But it's been really nice, actually.
Yeah, it usually is in that part of the country anyway, more so than we have it here. So when you say that it's cool, it has to probably get a little bit colder for you to consider it cool.
Yeah, well, we're in the 70s now, which
see, that's perfect.
Oh, you kidding me? There's no doubt. Yeah, low 70s. So hopefully we can ride this for another couple of weeks, and that's when it gets a little chill in the air. Come end of October.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy. We were talking about a PB as they turned the page from Arkansas losing to BYU, but heading into LSU week. It just doesn't feel right that Arkansas and LSU football is playing in September. There's just something about it that just doesn't feel American, because I think this is the first time ever that they faced off against each other, at least been in the SEC. The game's not been in November, but it's in mid-September.
Yeah, that was always a end of the schedule, but with when I guess it was really, I don't know if they thought of it as a rival, but I don't know if it were really a rival, but it was sort of like a tradition that we would play them late in the schedule. But I don't mind it early on. Now that obviously we played Mizzou on Thanksgiving, but I don't mind it. I think LSU is they're going to continue to get better. I think getting them now is probably the best time to get them, because I think in November they're going to be in first place in the SEC West.
So based off that, how are you feeling about Arkansas, and based on the last game against BYU and how LSU performed at Mississippi State?
Too many mistakes everywhere. It's the special teams and 10-yard punt, and the offense. Obviously, I'm sure you guys talked it to death. All the issues that they had, so it just didn't look clean, and it doesn't look to me that everybody is on the same page, clicking. Like, just things look like they're difficult. Even simple tasks look difficult. So, that's one of the things that you cannot have against a good team, if not the best team in the league. You got to at least make sure that you're playing, or not even, playing your best, but not making those mistakes because they'll take advantage of it. So that is one of the biggest concerns coming out of Saturday.
Yeah, and just going up against a team like LSU, we talked about the offensive line issues and protecting KJ and everything. It's been a problem all year long. But, man, when you're going up against Harold Perkins and that LSU defensive line, this isn't going to get any easier. So it's almost like you as a coaching staff have to find some way to adjust to keep KJ healthy, but also get the ball out of his hands quickly because this front for LSU is going to be mean, and I don't think Arkansas just has the horses on the team to be able to keep them in check.
Right. So where does that keep everybody? Where does that put everybody right now then?
And it puts them at they ain't expecting much from Arkansas.
What are you guys at?
I mean,
guys?
PB, it's tough, man. It's tough based on what we've seen from Arkansas so far this season, and thinking that they're going to be able to contend with that team in LSU and how good they are.
So did you think a month ago this is how you'd be feeling going into this game?
Yeah, probably so. Yeah. So not a lot has changed.
Yeah. I mean, it sounds like you guys don't think there's a chance.
I mean, after what I've seen, at least, it's hard for me to pick Arkansas. I mean, I know anything can happen, but it's just like the one thing.
But did you feel that way a month ago?
Oh, no. I felt differently a month ago just because there was a lot of uncertainty. And, you still felt like, okay, well, the offense, how's it going to look? And you have Rocket, but he hasn't been able to play this year. And, KJ and getting a new. But, yeah, it's still like I've changed a little bit. I still felt like this was going to be a game, even before the year started, that Arkansas was going to lose. But now it's just a matter of in what way do they lose? I think that's what I feel differently about.
Just a matter of how much do they lose by? Is that what you're trying to say?
Yeah, we'll go with that. We'll go with that. Like, I feel like if Arkansas keeps it somewhat close, I will be surprised just because of the biggest strength that LSU has is going up against Arkansas's biggest weakness right now, and that's very problematic.
Well, that's what LSU. Well, we know that they're always going to have that explosive players, and I think the quarterback. Yeah, he may be sort of inconsistent at times, but that's a kid who's going to continue to get better. And if that's the biggest question mark, which I think that's what a lot of people sort of just go to automatically, I wouldn't. If I'm LSU, I'm not concerned about that quarterback. I think he's even through some mistakes. I think he's gonna be something to deal with here, not only on Saturday but for the rest of the season.
Jaden Daniels is he's better than people on the outside want to give him credit for, first of all. And then, people are looking at the result at the beginning of the season, the result of LSU and how they got beat by Florida State. And right away, that may have given some people some false hope and saying LSU is not as good as we thought they were coming into the season. We expected big things from them to compete for the West. Well, losing that game to Florida State didn't matter how it happened. They still were going to be able to compete for the West.
Yeah. Is there a more insignificant game in college football than opening week non-conference game? It's like I can't remember when a team was kept out or put in to like college football playoff based on that game. It just seems like there's so much time to recover from a loss or screw up a win, aka like Florida State last year. They had the big win against LSU and then they fumbled. It just seems, I don't know, it's fun. I'm glad those opening week games, but it just seems like they don't stick with you, win or lose. They don't stick with you. So, I don't know how much you could take from that game even. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, PB, because I started thinking about it too. I think it used to hold a lot more water just because every game did back in the BCS era where it's like one loss, you're out. Like it's like that's what changes everything in college football. But now it's still only 4 teams, but still you have the opportunities to make up for it a lot more, to play for a national championship at least. You could always still win the SEC or still win the conference, but national championships, one loss is not what's going to bury you, especially that early part of the year.
And I do think the committee looks at week one. Everybody is sort of still trying to put things together, and and that plays into it. And it matters how you play and how you improve during the season. So I don't even know how much. I know they LSU, and the reason I'm saying that is because obviously LSU lost by a couple of touchdowns in opening weekend, and I think that's probably what took the shine off of them. But I still think that they are a favorite to win the SEC West. And Georgia struggled a little bit. Obviously, Alabama struggled a little bit. I don't even know if you say Georgia struggled. I mean, it is South Carolina, so I mean they're another SEC team. Maybe we're just used to their dominance. So, but it was interesting. I was looking at that game. It was interesting to see how that quarterback was going to play. So, Bennett, is that his name? Bennett. He got a lot of tattoos for a quarterback. That's for sure.
Beck. Yeah.
So, but that was interesting. This weekend is gonna be a lot of fun games. I'm ready to lock in for this weekend.
So, what other games are you looking forward to? You got Colorado at
Rattle
Oregon.
them off.
Okay,
rattle them
Colorado
off,
at Oregon, Ole Miss at Bama, and Ohio State, Notre Dame. Those are some of the marquee ones. There are plenty more, actually.
So I'm saying Oregon covers. Ole Miss definitely covers. May even beat them. And I don't know, man. ND, ND's not going to beat Ohio State. That's for sure. I don't even think they'll cover. To be honest with you. What's the line on that?
Bet Saracen has it at 3 points for Ohio State.
Oh yeah, no. I love Notre Dame. And they got fortunate to get a very veteran quarterback, and he seems kid's playing really well.
That's the quarterback that Bama is looking at, saying that's the guy we should have gotten.
Yeah, that kid's playing really well. So, but you know what, Ohio State, they've I thought that they would be in a lot better position over the last couple of years, and of course, they're top 5, top 10 team, but it just seems like they haven't taken control of the Big Ten like they did before, and Michigan seems to be in that position now.
Yeah, and in fact, just this Big Ten in general, we know they're going to be adding some teams from the Pac-12, but it's still a conference where it's about Ohio State and about Michigan. But sometimes, they forget about other teams that are going to be facing off against each other. Like you even had Penn State in a top 25 matchup this weekend against Iowa. It's funny that Iowa's there because everyone likes to make fun of their offense, but they're in that position. Even like Oregon State, Washington State cracks me up. Those are the only two teams going to be left in the Pac-12, but yet both of them are ranked in the top 25.
That's going to be a good matchup.
Yeah.
Both of them have explosive offenses.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it'd be good. Colorado is just, I think they're going to be running into a buzzsaw. Unfortunately, that kid's hurt, Hunter. So they're a little short-handed. That's going to be a little anticlimactic, but you know what? That's fine because we've gotten a season's worth of drama. Thankfully to Colorado already. I mean, you don't have this much drama. Basically, Dion has helped every sports talk radio show, every sports TV show. He's helped not only ratings for the games, but he in Colorado football have been just topic of conversation for hours and hours at an end. He's a godsend to anybody who is in sports media. So, regardless of how they do end up the rest of the season, I mean, that poor kid's probably going to be out 3 to 4 weeks. Everybody's going to be thanking him for giving people something to talk about. And Nick Saban should be thanking him. If people aren't talking about Alabama and how they're taking a little slide this year. So that's positive coming out of that.
And then Coach Prime and Nick Saban, Coach Saban, they're praising each other. They do the commercials together, but then you have them being asked about each other, and they're making comments about how good the other is. So that's an added element to it.
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, Nick Saban understands how and what he needs to do, and I think you got to accept what Dion's doing. because I don't know if there's anybody out there who could do what he's doing, but you also have to understand that it's not for him. Like, I don't think he's a flash in the pan by any means. I think once he gets into the recruiting side of it, because he was on the high school side of recruiting. He was a high school coach. He had high-level kids come through his program. So obviously he was a high-level player himself, but he has developed these relationships and knows how everything works. So I think that's why he's going to have a lot of success. And Coach Saban, Nick doesn't want to pick a fight with Prime. Come on, he's got bigger things to worry about.
Yeah, and then with Coach Prime, that's what's going to be interesting. We know that he will be able to recruit, that he's going to be able to get players there. His kids are the foundation of the team, and there was a pretty funny video that the other day where they were at the Broncos game, and Shiloh and Shador were talking about playing in the NFL soon. Like, they were talking, possibly next year. And Coach Prime says, no, you guys aren't going anywhere. You guys aren't playing in the NFL next year. You're going to stay right here. So, it made for a funny moment, but it does show you that his kids are the foundation, but it's a lot bigger than just his kids because he has to worry about an entire team.
Well, and one thing he has too is Shador. I don't know about some of the other kids, but he seems like somebody who can be an active recruiter himself. And I know Caleb Williams at USC, his father had come out and saying that if he doesn't like who gets the first draft pick, his son's going to stay at USC. Which who knows if he's just saying that?
Don't believe that, PB. Do not believe.
No,
that.
I know. It's kind of wild to even come out and say that. But who knows? I mean, I would think, especially in football, you come out when you can come out. I mean, there's no way you risk anything like that. But maybe Colorado and the guys that get on the roster would like to run it back next year with another, with a year of recruiting under their belt and another year of experience.
By the way, PB, before we just got a few minutes with you, but our fearless leader, Justin Acree, he wanted me to bring up this story with you to get your reaction to it. So hopefully I can make sense out of it. This would happen in East Longmeadow, Massachusetts, where 10 to 15 people fighting, chairs and bowling balls being thrown through the air, which was absolute chaos. Says this is how police described a large-scale brawl that broke out at the bowling alley in East Longmeadow. And it said that several individuals were arrested. And it says also, though, that not only was it complete chaos, but 10 to 15 people were actively fighting with chairs and bowling balls throwing through the air in all directions. And they said that there was one particular woman who was the active aggressor in the fight that was raising the bowling balls over their heads to throw at other people, too.
Whoa.
And they were all between the ages of 19, 21, 24, 25. Like, so a lot of younger people there, too. But, yeah, so what's is there something about East Longmeadow there in Massachusetts where bowling alley brawls decided to break out, where people are trying to chunk them at each other?
Well, I need a little confirmation. Was this Candlepin Bowling?
Yes, it was.
You been there before?
It was Candlepin.
It was.
Well, Candlepin is different than regular.
Oh, sorry. Hey, PB, sorry. So it says it was not Candlepin. It was originally believed that it was inside the Shaker Bowl is what it was called.
Well, no. Well, Candlepin Bowling. See, you know your bowling ball where you stick your fingers in there?
Yeah.
They don't have the holes.
We play Candlepin.
Got you.
And Candlepin, it's almost like a skee ball. There's no holes in it. You don't get to stick your fingers in those dirty holes down there at the bowling alley. What you do is you grab yourself. It's Candlepin Bowling. It's just a ball. It's like a bocce ball.
Okay.
And you roll it. And that's Candlepin Bowling. It's basically, I've only ever seen it in New England, in this area.
Yeah.
So my question is, it must have been Candlepin, because how do you throw a big old ball like that?
Well, it says,
I
keep reading the article. It says it's Shaker Bowl. It says, which offers regular bowling and not Candlepin bowling.
They don't do Candlepin?
That's what it says.
What a bunch of frauds. I've never heard of anything like that in my life.
Yeah.
They need to revoke their license out there, East Longmeadow. Oh, my God.
That's an interesting spot where that is also, because you have Six Flags New England, and it's close to the Connecticut border.
Yeah, they're a bunch of hillbillies out there. I mean, they're hicks like you wouldn't believe. I mean, it's probably, does it say they were all related, probably some family reunion, something like that. They were probably They were probably having a family reunion / wedding. That's how big of a hicks they are out there.
Yeah, well, it was saying that they arrested 3 Springfield women on multiple charges, including assault and battery and dangerous weapon and disorderly conduct. I would just be curious of what the weights of the bowling balls they were trying to hurl. Were they, like the little like 6-pound balls for the kids, or were these big old women trying to throw over some 20-pounders? Try to really get ahead of it.
That's what I thought it was Candlepin. Springfield, home of the Naismith Basketball Hall of Fame.
There you
Springfield.
go. So making all the connections there, PB. But yeah, glad we could end on that note and get to the bottom of what was going on there at Absolute Chaos at East Long Meadow. But PB, before I let you get out of here, man, just give a shout out to the fine folks over at Motorsports Authority.
MSAstore.com is the website, MSAstore.com. If you want, check out their premier pre-owned vehicle. Also, all kinds of accessories that go along with vehicles. Online, you can check them out. Their locations all over. You got Conway, Hot Springs, Sherwood, you name it. Go by and check out their website, msastore.com.
All right, PB, have a great weekend, man. We'll catch up with you next week.
All right, boys.
See you, PB.
Later.
All right, see you. And again, that was Pat Bradley. Thanks to Motorsports Authority joining us here on Out of Bounds. We got more Wide Open Wednesday coming up next, so stay with us.
Listen for Coach Kevin Kelly Wednesdays during the Zone, presented by the Wooded Rock Athletic Club. Join the Wooded Rock Athletic Club and save 30% off joining fees with no monthly contract. LRAC.com.
This is Sports Center.
The Major League Baseball playoffs start in less than 2 weeks. So far, 4 teams have punched their tickets. In the AL East, both the Orioles and Rays are in. Then the NL East winning Braves and winners of the NL West, the Dodgers, are also in, so 8 spots remain open. In both the NL and the AL, it's going to come down to the wire. In the National League, the Phillies, Diamondbacks, and Cubs would be your wild card if the postseason started today. But the Marlins and the Reds are within a game of the Cubs for the final wild card spot. In the American League, the Blue Jays, Rangers, Mariners, and Astros are all within a game of each other. Only 2 wild card spots remain in the AL, as either the Rays or the Orioles would get the first wild card, depending on who finishes second place in the AL East. And the Arkansas Travelers opened postseason play with the win last night, beating the Springfield Cardinals 3-1. They can clinch the best-of-3 series tomorrow. I'm Christian Weaver with the Buzz Radio Network.
Pat Bradley for Brewskis. Razorback fans, this Saturday night at 6 p.m., Arkansas travels to LSU. Plenty of TVs at Brewskis. The legendary Brewskitron, not a bad seat in the house. Enjoy drink specials all game as you grub out in the best game day food in the city with plenty of options for everyone. Stick around after the game for Saturday night karaoke in the bar at 9 p.m. and JJ Wilson, the DJ, in the basement playing a live open DJ set till 2 a.m. For more info, VIP section, Brewski'sPubandGrub.com. Brewskis, you home for lunch, happy hour, and late night.
Hi, I'm Rick Pennington of Lions Drug. We have great news. Generic Cialis is now available at a huge savings. We have Tadalafil, the FDA-approved generic of Cialis, in a 20-milligram tablet at a savings of up to 80%. We have the 5-milligram daily tablets for less than $3 a pill. Lions Drug continues to be your go-to pharmacy for men's health. What are you waiting for? Call us today at 844-676-2247 or go to our website at lionsdrug.com.
River Valley Tractor, your leading Kubota dealer of Central Arkansas. River Valley Tractor is closer than you think. A company that cares for you is right around the corner. rivervalleytractor.com. With 5 great locations to better serve you, visit River Valley Tractor in Bryant, Sherwood, Conway, Russellville, or Pine Bluff today, or find them at rivervalleytractor.com. Work smarter, not harder with River Valley Tractor. River Valley Tractor, closer than you think.
In a world of inflated car payments and sky-high interest, Guadney Buick GMC next to Sam's in North Little Rock is taking their inventory to the nines. Call 501-945-4444. Get Sierra 1500 with the 5.3 V8 engine at just 0.9%. Plus, Guadney will double down with an additional $3,250 off when trading in a 2009 or newer vehicle. Guadney Buick GMC hasn't left out SUVs. Get 2023 GMC Terrain at just 1.9%. or 2024 Buick Encore GX at just 2.9%. And if you haven't noticed, the holidays are coming. So why not get all the way to 2024 with no payments for the rest of the year? Gwatney Buick GMC, 5700 Landers Road in North Little Rock. Call 501-945-4444. Gwatney Buick GMC.com. GMC, we are professional grade. All offers with approved credit.
Gwatney for Buick, Gwatney for GMC, Gwatney for life.
Hey, it's Howie from Robert Irwin Jewelers, and I'm excited to announce that we've got our second location in the area now open in the Pleasant Ridge Town Center in Little Rock. If you're looking for an engagement ring, come check out the Meant to Be Guarantee. Bigger, brighter diamonds, better prices, Robert Irwin Jewelers, or online at rijewelers.com.
Arch Marine and G3 Boats have teamed up for the model year closeout sale. It's the biggest rebates of the year. Get $2,000 off G3 Sportsman boats or $3,000 off Bay 22 boats. Act now as these deals end September 30th. Your granddaddy trusted Arch Marine, so should you.
Want to voice your opinion so you don't have to hear the same terrible callers every day?
Are you behind on your credit card bills? Good. Pick up the phone and start dialing. Is your landlord ready to evict you? Good. Pick up the phone and start dialing. Does your girlfriend think you're a worthless loser? Good. Pick up the phone and start dialing.
Then call or text 501-661-1037 to help the cause. You're listening to Out of Bounds with John Nabors and Joe Franklin.
How does Sam Pittman celebrate being bowl eligible?
Well, I believe I'm going to have my old cold beer. That's kind of what I like to do, you know.
Do you need any company?
Anybody want to come, but bring some, you know what I mean?
BYOB, baby.
On 103.7 The Buzz.
Wait a minute, this love started off so tender, so sweet. But now she got me smoking out the
Bet Saracen is Arkansas's favorite sports betting app. Bet Saracen is as close to your cell phone. Just go to the App Store and download the Bet Saracen app or go to betsaracen.com. The line for Arkansas is plus 17. So LSU 17.5-point favorite. The over-under is 54.5. Thursday night football, Giants taking on the Niners. Niners are a 10-point favorite. And the over-under is 44.5. Those are just some of the lines you can get on Bet Saracen. They have all college football, NFL, MLB, combat sports, boxing, MMA, in-game props, specials, and make sure you check out the Double R props. Those are always some good wagering opportunities there with the Double R props. For the most accurate and up-to-date sports wagering info, you need to be on the Bet Saracen app. It's simple. Just go to the App Store and download the Bet Saracen app or go to betsaracen.com. Be sure to check out the video of how to play featuring Jancy Sheets.
So wide open Wednesday. You're on Out of Bounds, folks. If you want in on the conversation, 501-661-1037 is that number to call or text in. As we've had a few people on the Asher Record live fan feedback. We're talking about Arkansas and LSU and some of the great memories and great moments that come from the battle for the Golden Boot. Dan says, my greatest Razorback football memory is hearing War Memorial Stadium blaring Pour Some Sugar on Me after Mount and the boys led us to an unforgettable victory over the Tigers. Rest in peace, 1-5. That was a great one, too. A great ending to that. And as far as, like, you know, I'm not trying to take anything away from, like, the Miracle on Markham or anything like that. But, man, that game to me was like, you when you won it, we're getting into a BCS bowl game, which you had not ever done before. Like, you were accomplishing something you had never done before. And get into a bowl game to that caliber, you hadn't been to one of those in decades. So as far as the game itself, that one may have been one of the most fun ones to be a part of. But yeah, a lot of great memories. Miss that game being at the end of the season. Yeah, it's all right. You got Missouri. It's just as good. It's just as good. People forget, though, in the early mid-2000s, that game between Arkansas and LSU, a lot of times the winner went on to go to the SEC championship game. Like, it came down to that final game. It just didn't really have as much nowadays, but I don't think Arkansas and Missouri will, since they're not in the same division, but of course divisions are going away, and I doubt that they'll ever be the top two teams in the final season of the year to be able to, I don't know.
Wouldn't that be something? If they play the final week of the season, and then they're the two teams that go to the SEC championship game.
I think if you told like the SEC that was going to happen at some point, they'd be like, what went wrong? Like, what did we do wrong here? Who got hurt? Who got put on probation? Who stopped playing football? Like, if that ever happened, that would be quite the storyline and quite the big deal. But
and
make
then
for a
once
great
they
game.
go to no divisions, you got Bama and Auburn at the end of the season, so there's the possibility of them matching up.
Oh yeah, it'll be them, and it's possibility of I guess like Texas and Texas A&M will be that final game. There may be a case where that ends up being there. I still think they're going to have Oklahoma and LSU play the final game of the year. And
that makes sense.
Yeah. And it's great for branding and all that. Two great teams, programs. So those two teams could be maybe in the mix.
Because if you're talking about how it's set up right now with LSU and A&M, if A&M is playing Texas, it only makes sense for LSU to play OU.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, because some people are saying, well, they'll give Arkansas and LSU back. No, they won't. They're going to have LSU and Oklahoma play before that happens. It's like,
so in that case, I guess they're thinking it's going to be OU and Missouri?
Yeah, that old rivalry that they have from the Big 12.
They did play each other.
They did. That would be too good to be true, but I don't think that happens. I don't think it happens. Just they want the biggest games that they can possibly have, because those are really the only like big ones in conference that you're going to have at the end of the season. Because you have like Florida State, but that's out of conference.
South Carolina, Clemson.
Yep, another one out of conference.
Kentucky, Louisville.
Yep, another one too. I guess the Egg Bowl still there. That's usually played on Thanksgiving. So that'll still have the case.
Maybe that one is the one that could be the SEC championship.
It could be. I don't want to rule anything out with the way the college football has been changing and going crazy, but that could end up happening. Or Tennessee and Vanderbilt, right? The battle of that state.
It's a possibility.
It's always a possibility.
Clark Lee says that they're there to compete for championships.
Well, we will see, Clark Lee, as you have some opportunities in front of you. But Georgia Tech's really the only one that's got like a major program. Nothing against Georgia Tech, but it's like no one thinks about that game as like, oh yeah, Georgia Tech. That's going to be a great game, great rivalry. But that's always going to be.
Georgia Tech has beaten them, not in most recent years, because we know how dominant Georgia's been. But when Georgia was expected to win that game, Georgia Tech has beaten them.
I never understood why Georgia Tech is not better at football.
It's because of academics. Academics it's like they're like Vandy. They're like Duke. But as far as the recruiting area and the players that they're able to get, if they lower the standards on academics, that would be the place to go.
Yeah, because it's very conveniently located and has so much talent surrounding it there in the state of Georgia. Yeah, they need to. I'm not saying that they need to lower their academic standards just for the sake of football, but you kind of need to lower your academic standards just for the sake of football, because you see how much money it brings in to the school.
That's the foundation of that university, though. That's why it's Georgia Tech.
That's maybe why you got kicked out of the SEC when you were back in there, you and Tulane. But yeah, so there's still going to be end of season games and still some great rivalries in the conference, and I'm hoping that like when all the conference realignment happens, they'll still keep some of those, because they still have UCLA and USC. Is that end of final game of the season game? Yeah. Because they always do wear the home jerseys. I know that. So I guess they'll keep that because they'll still be in the same conference and everything. Well, Ohio State and Michigan, that's not going anywhere. So any like the Pac-12 teams, and if they have any changes for them, I guess BYU and Utah will still play.
Oregon State will now be a non-conference game.
Jeez. Same thing with Washington State. And Utah and BYU, even though they play each other, it's never been a conference, but it'll be part of two major conferences that'll be going on against each other, part of the Holy War. So yeah, I mean, they'll still make it work. They'll still play those games, and they'll still have the rivalry set. But it is just weird how some of the rivalries, because of conference realignment, are not going to have the same teams in the same conference with the same things being on in doubt, or at least on the line. Also from the Southern Structural Solutions text line, 501 says, remember the game Chad Jones of LSU laid out Joe Adams, but got the worst of it. Yeah, that was a scary thing. Chad Jones laid out Joe Adams, and I mean, it took Joe's helmet off. Like, it was a scary thing. I can't believe he got back up, because he caught the touchdown pass like on fourth down a couple plays later. So, yeah, that was a nasty hit. Arkansas should have won that game, but, they didn't. They didn't. Not that I remember. That was in 2009, I think, down in Baton Rouge. And that was when LSU had the gold helmets. I think that they were rocking. Man.
Yeah, they change it up every now and then.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Still unique because they are one of the few teams that have white jerseys as part of their home uniforms. So when Arkansas plays them this weekend, Arkansas is going to have red uniforms on. They're going to have their home jerseys. And they will against A&M too. So Arkansas, hey, there you go. So you may not be playing at home, but you're going to have your first 5 games wearing your home jerseys. So there's that.
Yeah. Get on board with it.
Yeah. Make you feel like you're at home because of the red jerseys you're rocking. Let's go to the phone lines. Kurt's and Brian. What's up, Kurt?
Hey, man, I tell you what, y'all were just talking about, conference scheduling, and I've had some thoughts on that. what I was wanting them to do, which they won't do, but I was wanting them to do, was go to that pod system, take all the Big 12 teams and put them in one, Arkansas, LSU, and both Mississippi's in 2, both Tennessee's, both Alabama's in 3, Kentucky, South Carolina, Georgia, and Florida in 4. And what that would do, that would keep and then play everybody in your pod every year, play half the teams in the other pods with a 9-game schedule in the first year, then switch the second year and play the second group. In the third year, go back and switch home and away with the first group, and then the fourth year, do the same thing with the second group. That keeps your Texas, Oklahoma every year. It renews Texas A&M every year. It gives you a chance. It gives you the Egg Bowl every year. It gives you the Iron Bowl every year. It gives you Tennessee Vanderbilt every year. It gives you Tennessee Alabama every year. It also, in the East, those teams all have non-conference rivals like Kentucky Louisville, South Carolina Clemson, Georgia Tech, and Florida State. So you keep the most of the rivalries intact. Plus, if you switch every year, it also keeps the competitive balance more even, and it keeps the conference closer knit together instead of having it split into 2 conferences. So I was really interested not in what you think the conference will do, but how would you have it line it up, if you could choose, and I'll hang up and listen. Thank you, fellas.
Kurt, that sounds like a great idea. You need to find a way to get that idea to the SEC office and see what they think of it. But it's hard to argue with that way of doing it.
Because it's very consistent, and it's a way of like knowing for years and years and years to come who you're going to play and when you're going to play them and where you're going to play them. Like, it makes too much sense. But I mean, I would be down for a system like that. I think it'd be fair. I think it'd be balanced. I think it'd be regionally really good, and you still get to play everybody. But as you said, it's like, that's not what the SEC is going to do, because the SEC, guess what? They want LSU Bama playing every year. They want that game every year. They're going to want Texas and Alabama to play more, or Texas and Florida, whoever. Like, they're going to want those big marquee games to happen as much as possible. And so the ratings will come in. That's what it's going to be. What their scheduling process is going to be, what can bring us in the most money and the biggest ratings and the most eyeballs. That's what they're going to set the schedule as. It's just the way it is. But I like the idea in principle. It shouldn't be that hard to schedule. It should not be that hard to schedule. NFL's got it scheduled out. Like, they know how to do it. I know there's a lot less teams, and it stays the same for the most part, but there should not be some sort of complication to it. It should just be an easy fix. But we got to figure out what the conferences are even going to be at that point. That's, I think, what everyone's waiting on. But appreciate the call, man. We got more Out of Bounds coming up on Wide Open Wednesday. We'll have your Razor Hog update. And also, Tom Brady has responded about the Jets and whether or not he would be interested in going to the Jets and if they've contacted him. So got some pretty big news. You'll be interested to hear what he has to say. But we'll get to that and more coming up next. You're Out of Bounds, so stay with us.
Roger Scott for Alcoa Community Federal Credit Union and their Casasa checking accounts. With Casasa, earn up to 6% APY, cash rewards with no minimum balance, and refunds on ATM fees. Stop by Alcoa's new branch in Sheridan and open a free Casasa checking account, or apply securely online at alcoacommunityfcu.org.
This is a public service announcement for hard seltzer lovers. Neutral Vodka Seltzer has arrived. Made with simple ingredients like vodka, seltzer, and real juice. Neutral tastes good. Like, real good. So good that you'll never want to drink another artificial tasting seltzer again. Neutral's light and refreshing taste will show you what a vodka seltzer can be. Try Neutral, the one with the umlaut. Copyright 2023 Neutral Distilled Spirit Specialty, Los Angeles, California. Enjoy responsibly.
Gwatney Chevrolet in Jacksonville is going beyond the competition to change your current vehicle situation with Gwatney's exclusive loan and lease termination program.
I need your current payment
your keys, and your signature.
Call 501-982-2102 and say hasta la vista to your current ride and payment with the help of Gwatney's Loan and Lease Termination Program, regardless of your current financial situation.
I swear I will approve everyone.
Rates as low as 0% on new Chevrolets. Trade now and terminate your payments until 2024.
Get to Gwatney now!
The Loan and Lease Termination Program is this month only at Gwatney Chevrolet, 1301 TP White Drive in Jacksonville. Call 501-982-2102. GwatneyChevrolet.com. Chevrolet. Find new roads. All offers with approved credit. All voices are impersonators, but Gwatney's the real thing.
Shop Gwatney Chevrolet once, and you'll be back.
We're back here with Wild Bill at Motorsports Authority. Lots of folks talking football, but we are talking great deals, Wild Bill.
All of our customers are a winner right here at Motorsports Authority, folks. We're passing out the lowest prices possible for any vehicle that we got. We're passing out top dollars for the trades. We'll trade for just about anything as long as you don't have to feed it. And I tell you what, folks, we're having a great time right here at Motorsports Authority.
In Russellville on East Main and Hot Springs on Central or online at msastore.com. Get here to Motorsports Authority.
Go Hogs!
Having an outdoor event this fall, Arkansas Portable Toilets has the perfect addition. Rent a portable toilet. No, I'm not talking about your typical porta potty. I'm talking about a luxurious restroom. From 2-stall to 10-stall and everything in between, Arkansas Portable Toilets can accommodate you anywhere you are with offices in Little Rock, Fayetteville, and Memphis. Call for any of your construction or special event portable toilet needs. Call Arkansas Portable Toilets today, 501-430-3158, or just go to their website, arportabletoilets.com.
Adam and Eve is not giving you 10% off and not 20% off or even 40%. Your discount is even bigger. AdamandEve.com is giving you a whopping 50% off. But why stop there? In addition to 50% off, you also get 10 free gifts. That includes a racy item for him, a sensuous toy for her, and something we know you'll both enjoy. Ooh. And 6 extra special bonus items that are sure to rev your engine, pique your curiosity, and even blow you away. And best of all, free shipping, always delivered in discreet packaging. So rethink your bedroom routine. Go to adamandeve.com and enter this station's exclusive code at checkout, free66, and get, you know the discount, 50% off almost any item and 10 tantalizing free gifts. That's free 66. Again, free 66.
It's Randy Rainwater. Join me for the Sonic Blast this Friday in Arkadelphia when the Badgers take on the Nashville Scrappers. Brought to you by Sonic Drive-In and 103.7 The Buzz.
Unlike other shows, we don't talk over each other with old hee-haw jokes.
This is bull crap. Well, I ain't standing for this. We'll burn as hell. Yeah, they're down. They're down.
So call or text to actually be heard on Out of Bounds at 501-661-1037. You're listening to Out of Bounds with John Nabors and Joe Franklin.
Mr. Dorfman.
Hello.
0.2. Fat, drunk, and stupid is no way to go through life, son.
On 103.7 The Buzz.
Was a beauty from South Alabama. Her daddy had a heart like a 9-pound hammer. Think he even did a little time in the slammer. What was I thinking? She snuck out one night and met me by the front gate. Her daddy came out waving that 12 gauge. We tore out the drive, he peppered my tailgate. What was I thinking? Oh, I knew there'd be hell to pay. But that crossed my mind a little too late, because I was thinking that a little.
It's a wide open Wednesday here on Out of Bounds. I got to tell you about Gwatney Chevrolet, because this month in Jacksonville, they're going above and beyond the competition to cancel unwanted loans and leases with their Gwatney exclusive loan and lease termination program. Don't miss this opportunity to get out of the vehicle that you don't want to be in. Nobody wants to be in a vehicle that they don't want to be in. Let's be honest about it. There's nothing worse than just driving around and constantly just being angry and driving angry because you're in a terrible vehicle. Well, look no further. Gwatney Chevrolet is going to help you out with that, because during September, everyone will be approved. Plus, Gwatney Chevrolet knows everyone can benefit from having no car payments for the rest of the year. And that includes their deal with the new Silverado, 2023 Chevy Silverado at 0% with approved credit. That's not a deal you're going to get at any other dealership. And with these brand new 2023 Silverados, they got plenty of inventory. So you got to check them out today. So head over to Guatney Chevrolet there in Jacksonville off the Gregory Street exit. You can also visit them at putting the address into your phone at 1301 TP White Drive. And it's really easy and convenient to get to. And there's a reason why Guatney Chevrolet is Arkansas's #1 Chevy dealer, because of the award-winning sales and service that they have. They're going to get you taken care of in a vehicle that you want and that you can afford. So check them out today with Guatney Chevrolet and GuatneyChevrolet.com. It's a Wide Open Wednesday here on Out of Bounds. We're going to have Andrew Ellis of HogSports.com join us about 15 minutes. He'll give us some updates on some of the injuries for the Razorback football team. And if Rocket Sanders can't go this weekend, what's that going to look like, and how's that going to impact the Razorbacks and their offense? We'll talk about that more. But with a Razor Hog update coming up as well, let's go ahead and get Ryan in Hot Springs here on the line. Squeeze him in. What's up, Ryan?
Hey guys, how y'all doing?
Doing good.
Doing great, man.
Man, I'm this whole Greg Brooks thing, man. I'm so glad they caught that when they did. I hate that he's having to go through it, but man, I'm glad they caught it when they did, and I'm glad they were able to remove it safely. I wanted to throw that out there, but also I'd heard on another show they were already kind of low at their corner and safety spot. With that being kind of where they're at with that, does that help Arkansas's chances, y'all think, or is that not really going to matter a whole lot with their defensive line?
Well, they usually have a lot of talent on the bench, so whoever is playing in the secondary, probably talented also.
Yeah, because if you just look at their numbers, Ryan, and where they rank at, in fact, they are sitting at this point in time in the country in passing offense. They do a real good job, but even in passing defense, they're at 8th in the SEC and 61st overall. So, I mean, they're still about middle of the pack, which is Arkansas just slightly ahead of them as far as where the numbers are at. But if you're trying to find any sort of weakness on LSU defensively, they don't really have one except for rushing defense, which they are 12th in the SEC and also 74th in the country. That's really the only thing about the defense that's glaring.
Well, that sounds like they need to let AJ eat then Saturdays. What that sounds like to me.
You would think, but it's easier said than done.
Well, I understand that. I'm just saying. But I guess what I'm saying is, if we're going to have any chance of that, we need to have some sort of continuity at a. We can't. What I'm saying is, we can't do what we did against BYU and just constantly switching out. We've got, if somebody's hot, we need to let him eat. What I'm trying to say.
Mm-hmm.
There's But I'm not predicting a win. But I do like what I've seen out of the defense. I do think the defense will give us a chance. But that's going to be about it. I think unless they fix some stuff on the offensive line, I do think defense is what's going to let us hang around in this game. I will say this: going to this game, I would not have thought defense would be the one, be giving us our best shot. But that's kind of what it's looking like, especially if we can get a turnover, or two. But
yeah.
I hope y'all have a great day and go Hogs.
All right, appreciate it, Ryan.
Thank you for answering that question. I was curious about that. I always love and respect y'all's perspective, and you always come with a good one. So appreciate that.
Yeah,
appreciate you, Ryan.
Yeah, all in every time. We always appreciate it, Ryan. Thanks for it. I was just looking at the comparisons for Arkansas and LSU and statistics and everything. There's really, LSU does pretty much everything pretty solidly. Like, there's nothing glaring about a major weakness besides the fact, and if you want to look at some sort of deal that maybe be helpful, is that they are, in as far as tackles for loss, they don't have a lot. They don't get behind the line and even sack the quarterback very often, which is crazy to think. Just thinking about the defensive line and whatnot, but they do allow quite a few sacks, and Arkansas actually has done a pretty good job of getting to the quarterback with sacks, because not only is Arkansas #1 in the SEC in sacks, but they're #7 overall. So maybe, just maybe, there's something that can be had there, but I'm just trying to find any sort of major flaws or any sort of flaws that you can look at too.
That is more to do with Jaden Daniels at times, and maybe holding on to the ball a little bit longer, or trying to get out and create something when nothing is there, and taking a sack and not throwing the ball away. So that's something they're going to try to get him to play better and doing things like that, and actually throwing the ball away, or just making a quicker decision to take off and run.
Yeah, because if you look at Arkansas statistics too, Arkansas is actually #1 in the SEC in turnover margin. They're number 1 in turnovers gained. They're number 4 in turnovers lost. They are number 2 in passes intercepted. So they take care of the ball for the most part this season. And LSU is actually a middle of the pack for the most part, or even below average when it comes to the turnovers on offensive, giving up turnovers, also on defense, not taking advantage of those turnovers too. So again, there's another thing. But the most glaring issue of any of the teams, especially in this one, is Arkansas and their penalties. 13th and 14th in the SEC in penalties. LSU is 1st and 2nd in their penalties given up per game. So one team gets a lot of penalties and the other team does not. And I'll let you choose which one because you probably know all about it. But let's see. We just got a couple minutes here. We'll go ahead and step into your Razor Hog update presented by True Service.
Guys, I've got just one thing I want to say to you. Touchdown, Arkansas!
Arkansas wins the national championship! The Arkansas Razorbacks have completed the dream season!
Hogs by 90!
This is your Razor Hog update on Out of Bounds, presented by True Service Community Federal Credit Union, where they offer new mortgage loans, refinancing, auto loans, and small business loans. Online at trueservice.net.
All right, so for your Razor Hog updates, one of the players that Sam Pittman's going to be relying on is Luke Hasz, and he's a guy that met with the media yesterday, and Pittman has been big on him in the development that he's had at the tight end position.
He's a physical guy, to almost to a fault. The other day I thought he could have outran the guy chasing him from the inside, and he kind of waited on him so he could bang him, so he could hit him, and he ended up getting the first down. But, yeah, and I think – those type of games that he had, they'll just get better. I think his blocking will get better. And we talk about how many plays can he play. And basically we want to play him however many he can because he's valuable to us and he catches everything. He's done a really, really good that's a freshman out there. That's a really good job.
And he's been an adult about it too, as he knows his role is going to continue to increase with the Razorbacks. They're going to rely on him. They got plans for him this weekend against LSU, but I have to wait and see how all that plays out. But we're already up against it. We'll have some more things for the Razor Hog update coming up next. But also Andrew Ellis of hogsports.com will join us, and we'll get his thoughts and opinions on all the updates, especially with injuries when it comes to the Razorback football team. I have that and more in the third hour of Out of Bounds next.
From sales, service, parts, and rental equipment, River Valley Tractor does it all and does it right. Your leading Kubota dealer is right around the corner with 5 locations throughout Central Arkansas. River Valley Tractor, serving Central Arkansas and Bryant, Sherwood, Conway, Russellville, and Pine Bluff. Work smarter this year, not harder, with River Valley Tractor. Online at rivervalleytractor.com. River Valley Tractor, closer than you think.
Pickup truck, sports car, motorcycle, minivan, townhouse, 2-story, farmhouse, fixer-upper. What you drive and where you live is different for everyone, so it's important to have insurance that fits your needs and is just right for you. At Shelter Insurance, we understand that, which is why our agents help you design a comprehensive auto, home, and life insurance plan. Insurance that fits just right.
See Shelter Agent Drew Self in Hot Springs or Todd Matthews in Benton for a free insurance review.
It's Kayak Chaos at Arts Marine. Pick your perfect kayak from their large inventory and start exploring the natural state. Right now, get 20% off feel-free kayaks. We also slash prices on Moken 10 and Lure 10 kayaks. Your granddaddy trusted Arts Marine, so should you.
You're always the MVP here.
He's too ugly to be the world champ. The world champ to be pretty like me.
KABZ 103.7 The Buzz.
I am the greatest.
Buzz News with Channel 7's Cassandra Webb.
Arkansas's unemployment rate went up for the first time since last October. According to the Arkansas Division of Workforce Services, the state's unemployment rate ticked up 0.1% to 2.7% in August. Still, officials say there was growth in the government, professional, and business services, leisure and hospitality, and private education sectors. Nationwide, the jobless rate went up to 3.8% in August. The stage is set for what some see as a lithium mining boom in Arkansas. Last week, lithium development company Standard Lithium purchased land in Lafayette County where they plan to build their largest lithium processing plant in the state. Standard Lithium promises to bring new jobs, infrastructure investments, and new families to the area with a plant that'll produce about 30,000 tons of battery-quality lithium each year. From the Channel 7 newsroom, I'm Cassandra Webb.
Stack Commercial Truck and Trailer Repair presents Factor Crap each week on Morning Mayhem. Listen for your chance to play on your fun and game station, 103.7 The Buzz.
Weather from the Fletcher Weather Center with Channel 7's Melinda Mayo.
We've got several days now with scattered rain chances. Today, about a 30% chance of those showers, a high around 87 degrees. Tomorrow, that rain chance goes down to 20%, but back up to 30% for Friday. From the Channel 7 Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Melinda Mayo.
Fletcher Dodge wants to buy your car. We'll buy any make or model, and we'll pay you more than anyone else. Please turn your old car into cash at Fletcher Dodge in Sherwood.
Join Fitz Hill, the Doctor of Football, each Thursday night at 7 for the West Rock Coffee Recruiting Intelligence Report. The Doctor of Football will keep you up to date with the latest recruiting analysis. Brought to you in part by Ortho Rehab, Express Airport Parking, Diamond Medical, Blue Train, and Authentic Manhood. Only on your fun and game station, 103.7 The Buzz.
Of course, you have many options when it comes to great dining options downtown, but there's only one, Dizzy's Gypsy Bistro, still offering a wide selection of all your favorite special craft cocktails, including beer and wine, and a menu featuring gourmet salads and delicious pastas. And Dizzy's is also the multiple-time winner of the World Cheese Dip Competition. With a dog-friendly patio, a funky eclectic atmosphere, and room for large parties with reservations, Dizzy's will have you coming back again and again. Since 1995, Dizzy's Gypsy Bistro, Dizzy'sLR.com.
What's good, y'all? Clint Sterner here for Low T Center. Fellas, when it comes to your health, every man should know his testosterone number. What's that mean? It's simple. You need to schedule an appointment at Low T Center immediately. It's quick. It's easy. Hell, it's only $25. Walk in, take a simple blood test, get the results in about 25 minutes. So if you've been feeling tired and grumpy, sensing a lack of motivation and drive, dealing with high cholesterol, noticing stubborn weight gain and or loss of muscle mass, it's on you, fellas. Go to lowtcenter.com now to book your appointment. Low T Center, reinventing men's healthcare.
In a world of inflated car payments and sky-high interest, Guadney Buick GMC next to Sam's in North Little Rock is taking their inventory to the nines. Call 501-945-4444. Get Sierra 1500 with the 5.3 V8 engine at just 0.9%. Plus, Guadney will double down with an additional $3,250 off when trading in a 2009 or newer vehicle. Guadney Buick GMC hasn't left out SUVs. Get 2023 GMC Terrain at just 1.9%, or 2024 Buick Encore GX at just 2.9%. And if you haven't noticed, the holidays are coming, so why not get all the way to 2024 with no payments for the rest of the year? Guadney Buick GMC, 5700 Landers Road in North Little Rock. Call 501-945-4444. Guadney Buick GMC.com. GMC, we are professional grade. All offers with approved credit.
Guadney for Buick, Guadney for GMC, Guadney for life.
This is a public service announcement for hard seltzer lovers. Neutral Vodka Seltzer has arrived. Made with simple ingredients like vodka, seltzer, and real juice. Neutral tastes good. Like real good. So good that you'll never want to drink another artificial tasting seltzer again. Neutral's light and refreshing taste will show you what a vodka seltzer can be. Try Neutral, the one with the umlaut. Copyright 2023 Neutral Distilled Spirit Specialty, Los Angeles, California. Enjoy responsibly.
This is Pat Bradley for River City Flooring, where you can pick your payment. Get 0% interest for 12, 24, or 36 months. And River City Flooring in Maumelle is where you'll save 50% on all in-stock waterproof LVP flooring. And did you know River City Flooring carries cabinets? So stop in and let my friends at River City Flooring help you with your remodel. Kitchen, bath, living, dining, they do it all. Check out River City Flooring in Maumelle at their huge new showroom on Maumelle Boulevard just off 430.
At the Home Depot, Saturdays are about two things. Getting projects done right with Behr Premium Plus interior paint and football. That's right, Kirk Herbstreit. And with Behr's wall-to-wall coverage and long-lasting durable finish, you'll spend less time worrying about your walls, which means more time for football. For football. Upgrade your Saturday with Behr and the Home Depot. How doers get more done.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Welcome to AutoZone. What are you working on today?
My check engine light's on?
That could hurt your gas mileage. The AutoZone free Fix Finder service can help find the fix for free.
Get in the zone. This whole report for free?
That's right. Printed and on your phone for free.
Get in the zone. But what if the fix is too tough?
We'll recommend a local shop. Fix Finder, only at AutoZone. Get in zone, AutoZone. Restrictions apply.
Live from the Hoggs Meat Market Studios, this is Out of Bounds.
I just think this is as good a team as we're going to play, and I know A&M's good. I know Ole Miss good. I mean, hell, they're good. Alabama's good, but I think this will define a little bit where we're at, how we go Saturday night. We just got to really prepare hard for it. We've got a good football team. They do too, but if we get prepared, it'll be a hell of a game.
Yeah. With John Nabors.
Every time you put a mic in my face, I'm going to say Arkansas.
And Joe Franklin.
We won't go in the shell. We won't go in attack mode because that's what's required.
On 103.7 The Buzz.
I know that it's good when you sit it on my taste buds. I get way too busy once you let me do the extras. Pull up on your block and break it down. We playing Tetris. AM to the PM, PM to the AM phone. Eat up your per diem, you just gotta hate them phone. If I quit your BM, I still rock Mercedes phone. If I quit this season, I still be the greatest phone. My left stroke just went viral. Right stroke, put a baby.
2 hours down, 1 hour to go. Appreciate everybody listening in on this beautiful day here in the great state of Arkansas. John Nabors, Joe Franklin, broadcasting live from the Hoggs Meat Market Studios with you today. And thank you, as always, for making us a part of your afternoon this afternoon. It's been a great wide open Wednesday, talking about everything in the sports world that you are wanting to talk about. And so we'll have here in the final hour, as we'll have some different storylines, too, that is going on in the national landscape of all things sports, but also we'll have some Razorback updates too, and considering how they're just a couple days away from Arkansas and LSU and battle for the Golden Boot. Arkansas won the Golden Boot the last time they were in Baton Rouge, but different teams, different years, different times, and different times of the month too. But we'll still have some fun with that and talk about a lot of that as we go to the phone lines and welcome in Andrew Ellis of hogsports.com, friend of the show. Join us every week. Give us all the updates going on in Razorback land. And Andrew, as always, appreciate you joining us, man. How you doing this afternoon?
I'm doing great, John. You know, historically, as someone who grew up as an Arkansas fan in the state of Louisiana and central Louisiana, surrounded by LSU fans, this week would typically be one of a lot of anxiety, a lot of excitement, you know, just everything. I'm having trouble getting those same feelings this week, and I need a little pick me up. So I need someone to sell me on why I should be excited for this Arkansas LSU game here in Baton Rouge.
Well, first off, where in Louisiana did you grow up at? Like what area?
Alexandria, Louisiana, right smack dab in central Louisiana. So I was about 2 hours from Baton Rouge. So I've made many a trip to Tiger Stadium, had some great times there, and some not so great times.
Yeah. So how'd you grow up a Razorback fan then? So like a family thing?
Yeah, basically, the entire family was from the state of Arkansas. Dad and my older brother it was kind of who they were, just diehard fans, and so I kind of just followed what they did, and that's how I ended up here. Now it worked out weird where I'm the only one in my family who lives in the state of Arkansas, despite being the only one that was not born there.
So you're going to make the trip back though this week, like maybe go see the family, like make it down to Louisiana?
I'm actually not. I couldn't talk myself into the trip. I was thinking about it. I was trying to decide between LSU and A&M. The BYU game really helped make up my decision, and I just couldn't talk myself into the drive. But I do have some friends that will be attending, and I'm looking forward to hearing from them. And I'm sure when I see them next, they'll be chirping me pretty heavily.
So, not looking ahead, but are you feeling better about A&M altogether, or is just the trip itself is something that you were looking more forward to?
Yeah, well, the trip is a little bit shorter. I mean, the trip to Dallas is not too bad at all. I thought that might be a fun one to go to, and I think that there's a better chance that Arkansas gets it together and puts together a good performance against A&M, and I think that game should have a lot of excitement around it. There's still gonna be plenty of excitement, for this LSU game. I mean, it's a night game in Baton Rouge, which even when LSU stinks is always a fun time. And this Arkansas LSU rivalry over the years, we've come to learn that we should never pretend like we know what's about to happen because just chaos ensues. So I'm sure that, it could totally end up being a more exciting matchup this weekend. But I felt like, just going to Dallas would be the easier and more effective trip. But we'll see.
What are some of the positives you can take from this Arkansas team? You said you're trying to get a pick-me-up, but just seeing the team on a daily basis and maybe some of the things that they did well against BYU, what are some of those positives?
Well, I'll tell you, Joe, a few weeks ago, I think I came on this very program and said that I thought LSU was kind of, it looked a little more beatable, especially after that week 1 performance against Florida State. And, Florida State's got a lot of talent, but I just felt like I looked at this LSU team and I don't see, tons of first round draft picks at every position, which sounds ridiculous. But with LSU, that's kind of what you've come to expect. Even when they're not competing for national titles, they typically have first rounders all on the D line, first rounders at receiver. I mean, some of the best players in the NFL came from LSU. I mean, at any position. So it's like typically you're looking at a team that even when LSU is not at their peak, it's an overwhelming talent discrepancy. And I don't see that necessarily with Arkansas LSU. I think LSU very well could be the best team in the West and maybe the best team that they face all year. But it doesn't feel like the kind of matchup where I'm like, Arkansas is going to have to play perfect to win. And it's going to be one of those things. I think that you have to have a lot of things they have to overcome, like the road, being on the road in a tough environment. It gets a good quarterback in Jaden Daniels, and they're going to have to figure out a way to slow down this LSU pass rush. But I do think that LSU is probably due for some regression, especially after the way they played against Mississippi State. I mean, they were just perfect lights out in that game and really dominated those guys. And Arkansas did about all they could do to lose against BYU. So you would like to think, that it's going to average out a little bit. Arkansas will overperform a little bit, and LSU might be due for an underperformance. I think that's reasons for optimism. I'm generally encouraged by what I'm seeing by the defense. I think that, those linebackers I really like with Pooh Paul and Jaheim Thomas. I feel like they finally settled on like the two guys that are the main ones to lead the group. And the defensive line, I feel like some people have been underwhelmed by it. I feel like they control the line of scrimmage pretty well. Teams have just really not been running the ball well in Arkansas. And LSU's not a team that runs the ball well outside of Jaden Daniels. So I don't see LSU being able to control this matchup start to finish and just kind of keep Arkansas held down. I think that it's going to be a little bit of a struggle. I think LSU is going to have to really hit some big pass plays to move the ball. And I think Jaden Daniels was pretty much flawless against Mississippi State, and he's going to need to be locked in. I don't think that it's going to be an easy matchup where LSU is just going to pick apart this Arkansas defense. I don't have a ton of optimism that Arkansas is going to move the ball consistently against LSU, given what we've seen in the first 3 weeks. But I don't think I'm anticipating a blowout or anything like that. I think the line's a little high, so there's a little bit of optimism there. But at this point, this Arkansas team's just going to have to show me that they want to win. I haven't really seen that it factor with this team. I haven't seen them put together 4 quarters of good football, and so we'll see if they can do it this weekend.
Well, I know too, Andrew, we looked at the past 3 matchups. These games have been decided by 3 points. I don't know if that's the case, but do you believe if Arkansas was going to win or is going to win this game, it's going to be low scoring? Like that's kind of the formula to keep it maybe dirty, keep the possession, have good defense. Is that really the only way you see Arkansas being able to win this game is by keeping it low scoring?
I'd say that's pretty accurate. I think that, when you're in those type of games, Arkansas doesn't have the offensive line to really get into a shootout, to be in a situation where they're going to have to air this thing out and they're going to have to be in a bunch of third and longs, bunch of obvious passing downs. Arkansas has to avoid those at all costs. I just don't think, they want to be living in 3rd and 8 and obvious passing situations. So if Arkansas falls behind by double, 2 scores, I think it's going to be a tough, uphill battle there. And I just don't think that the offensive line is ready to hold up for a challenge like that, especially against an LSU front like this. But I do think that Arkansas is equipped, with the kind of mentality that their head coach has, the physicality of their quarterback, and just the way Arkansas plays it, they can muck this thing up. I mean, we saw them kind of do that effectively with Malik Hornsby at quarterback in this exact match last year where, could you imagine that KJ being available in that game? I feel like it's just a lot easier of a situation to control. And I think that we talked all last week about, is Arkansas going to unleash KJ in the run game and really get him going? And then we find out after the game he was banged up all week, so I don't know where that came from or why they were pushing that narrative. But I do think that if there's ever a time where you're going to unleash KJ the runner, and you don't want him to take hits against every opponent, but when you're going in on the road to Baton Rouge against the defending SEC West champs, I think you got to just unleash your hoss. You got to take the Ferrari out of the garage and just even if it's 3-4 yards at a time, I think Arkansas just playing the ball control game and keeping this one as ugly and hard to watch as possible. That's their best path to victory. And I don't even say that like dismissively. I think that's a very realistic path for Arkansas in this game. So I do think that they need to muck it up a little bit, kill that clock, and just keep it on the ground. And just don't let LSU settle into the game, because I think once you do, it's just hard to overcome that tidal wave, especially when you get that night crowd in Baton Rouge going. It's an intimidating atmosphere. It's as intimidating as any in college sports. So I really think Arkansas is going to have to kind of set that tone early, and I think the best way to do that is with KJ Jefferson, your fifth-year senior leader, just get him going on the ground, especially because I'm still not expecting Rocket Sanders to be in this game. But I do think that Arkansas kind of mucking it up is the way to victory here.
Is the offensive line performing better overall, not only in this game, but throughout the season? Is that going to be the key to Arkansas having success for the rest of the season, is the offensive line kind of getting it together?
Yeah, I mean, I know we talk about it a lot, and it's kind of the dark cloud hanging over this team of like, oh, hey, are they going to get things going on the offensive line? Any of the benefit of the doubt that they had coming into the season of, Sam Pittman's a great offensive line coach, they performed well the last couple of years, all that benefit of the doubt is gone after we've seen these first 3 weeks and just seen the way they've struggled to impose their will against lesser opponents. And BYU's a lot lesser of it. It's not like BYU's some group of 5 program. I mean, it's a real legitimate program, but just the way that Arkansas has not been able to impose their will or get things going consistently, and then kind of got bullied by BYU's defensive line there down the stretch. I mean, it seemed like every time KJ dropped back, he was in trouble. Yeah, I think that's the biggest question mark left for this team overall. Definitely the offense. And, if there's ever a matchup where you're going to play your best game, it's got to be this one against Harold Perkins, who got them for 3 sacks last year. So that's going to be a huge key for this one. But like I said, getting KJ going in the running game, I feel like really helps alleviate some of that pressure, especially because you can avoid third and long, avoid kind of needing this offensive line to do too much. I think they need to keep things simple and just, try to keep going positive yardage. Can't afford those big sacks, those big negative plays. But if Arkansas can do, what they typically do, which is take care of the football and run the ball effectively, it really takes a lot of pressure off this offensive line. But yeah, all eyes are going to be on how they handle that pass rush to LSU. And it's hard to be too optimistic going into this matchup.
Speaking of that, Andrew Ellis of hogsports.com here on Out of Bounds. And Andrew, I know Sam Pittman met with the media again today. First off, did he give any sort of update on Rocket Sanders and his status, and also anybody else or anything else that really stood out as far as things he had to say to the media?
So he said that Rocket is progressing faster than he expected, which is an interesting thing for him to say because we were at practice the last 2 days and he was out there, but he wasn't really participating in practice. He wasn't wearing pads. He wasn't wearing what everyone else was wearing. He was not in full pads. He wasn't going through the typical running back drills. He would kind of hold a ball and go through the motions here and there, but he wasn't full speed. He definitely wasn't taking any contact. So I don't know if he misspoke or if he just is like playing mind games. I don't know, but he seems to hasn't ruled out Rocket playing this weekend. I don't see any path to him playing just based on what I've seen him at practice and seen how little he's been involved. So I don't really know what he's talking about there. The one other injury update, he mentioned that Devin Manuel is still banged up, which is a little concerning because this injury has been going back to, middle of fall camp. I mean, it seems like he just isn't able to get back to 100%. He's still a little banged up, and they referred to it as a stinger a few weeks ago. But, stinger is like the term you hear when a guy leaves the game for 3 plays and comes back. Not a guy who's going to miss the entire first 4 weeks of the season. It's a very, very weird situation there, but it doesn't sound like he's super optimistic that Devin Manuel is going to be able to return 100%. And so there's still a few questions there. Anthony Booker, Tank Booker, the defensive lineman, he returned. He's supposed to return to practice today. He's been out a little bit, so we'll kind of see what the latest is with him. But not a ton of groundbreaking injury updates. I still don't understand why he's pretending like Rocket Sanders is going to play this weekend, but we'll see. Maybe there's a miraculous turnaround here in the next few days.
Andrew, what do you think of the matchup of Arkansas's defensive line, LSU's offensive line?
I think that's an interesting one. LSU's offensive line last year was one of the youngest in college football, and they kind of had that was kind of their weak link. It was a little bit up and down for that group, but they finished the year pretty strong, which kind of propelled them to, into the SEC title game and so on. And so I think a lot of people expected that group to be a lot better this year, knowing that they would all be a year older. And week 1 against Florida State, we saw them just kind of get beat up a little bit and kind of got overwhelmed. I don't think Arkansas has quite as much talent as Florida State does up front defensively, but we saw that there's still some vulnerability there with that LSU offensive line and kind of just their run game overall. I mean, if Jaden Daniels isn't running the ball, they just don't have much of a threat. They're not really a consistent getting things going on the ground offense. They kind of relied heavily on Jaden Daniels, whether that's through the air, scrambling, just kind of making things happen out of nowhere. But yeah, I do think that this is a matchup where I think I favor Arkansas just a little bit. I don't think they're going to be just wrecking shop and getting in the backfield every play, but I don't see LSU being able to kind of control the game with their offensive line. I just don't think that this is that type of team. I don't think this is, going to be even one of the better offensive lines Arkansas faces all year. I think that there's not a ton of vulnerability there, but I do like what I've seen from Arkansas's front seven these first couple of weeks. I feel like that's kind of one of their strengths of this team. And so I feel pretty good about what Arkansas is going to be able to do in that matchup. And we'll see if they get creative and how they handle the Jaden Daniels running ability, because we've seen this happen so many times where Arkansas just runs into these matchups with running quarterbacks, and it looks like they've never defended one before. So we'll see. They played him really well last year, and so I think there's some confidence that comes with that. This is obviously a different group, but I think that's probably the one area of this matchup where I'm really sort of encouraged with Arkansas's chances.
Yeah, I was even looking at some of the stats and seeing how it matches up and everything. And we know that there's some things that Arkansas is really good at. Like, they take care of the ball, even though they've had a couple of turnovers, but they're still leading the SEC in turnover margin. And they actually get a lot of turnovers defensively. And to me, when I was looking at that, I was like, LSU's, fine. They're just kind of there being all right. And I know it's only 3 games, but I feel like also with Arkansas, anytime you get the opportunities that come your way against LSU, whether it's turnovers, whether it's penalties or whatever, those are things that you can shore up to keep you in the game, because the last thing they need is not only having a lot of turnovers, but the amount of dadgum penalties that they had against BYU this past week. And you're not going to beat anybody, especially on the road.
No, 100%. I agree with you for sure. I mean, with KJ Jefferson, that's kind of been, I would say, one of his most valued traits is that he really takes care of the football almost to a fault. He just really doesn't like to put the ball in danger. The interception he had last week was his first of the year, and that was a really weird play. I don't even know what happened on that one, but yeah, I agree. Like, it's one thing that Arkansas has done really well, and I think they have to do that. I mean, you just cannot turn the ball over 2, 3, 4 times and expect to be winning in Baton Rouge. And so that's a huge key for them in this game. And of course, I'm not breaking any news here, but don't have 140 penalty yards if you're trying to win a big game against the real team. If Arkansas can kind of shore some of those things up, the crowd noise is one thing that they're just going to have. I mean, it's probably something that people don't like hearing about, because you hear about it so much, about the crowd noise and how that's going to be such a big factor, but it's real. I mean, you go into Death Valley at night and it's just a completely different atmosphere, especially for some of these younger guys. So it's going to be interesting to see how Arkansas handles that kind of atmosphere, if they're able to, because I'm sure they'll have plenty of motivation after the way they played last week, and you're going into a big game. So I think they'll be hyped up. We'll see if they can kind of control those emotions a little bit and get off to a nice start. I think that the more you do things like those false starts or turn the ball over, you're just begging that crowd to get involved in the game. And, that's something that they've been conscious of this week. And they're blaring. I mean, at practice, it's so loud with the noise that they're blaring in over these speakers, trying to replicate that atmosphere. It is so loud. It hurts. And Tim was even joking that he had to stop watching the offense at practice. He had to go over to the defense. It was so loud next to those speakers. So we'll see if that pays dividends. But I agree. Arkansas's really you just got to be clean here. You can't have a ton of self-inflicted mistakes, because LSU is good enough. They don't need a ton of help to beat you. But if you give them that help there, it's just going to be an uphill battle and a rough night for you in Baton Rouge. But I think Arkansas has the pieces in place, and they have some intriguing skill sets to make this an interesting matchup. But it's all about just kind of going out there and showing up and playing to the best of your ability. And we just haven't seen Arkansas do that at any point this season, again, unless you want to count the first half against Western Carolina.
If Arkansas is able to come away with an upset win here, what has to be done? What do they have to do to be able to pull off a win at LSU?
Yeah, that's a great question. One, I think that I'll just go ahead and say that I'm not expecting this to happen. This is not my prediction for the game, but just to answer the question, I think that, like we said, you got to take care of the football. You cannot be having those weird momentum shifts early in the game that let this crowd kind of overwhelm you. I think Arkansas has to have KJ at the peak of his powers. I mean, we've seen KJ he's as consistent a playmaker as we've seen in college football over the last few years. And we've seen him make plays in this exact environment before. He's got to be at the absolute peak of his powers. And I mean, running the ball, getting the ball downfield to his targets. We need to see those receivers, Tesla and Armstrong, get open down the field. I want to see them target Luke Has a ton. I just think that he's kind of a walking mismatch. And I think when you're in these kind of games against LSU, where it's not like your receivers are going to be wide open all day because they're going to be going up against SEC secondaries, I think Luke Has might be a huge key for this one. But, taking care of the football, just committing and letting KJ go in the run game and helping him set that tone. And then, you got to keep Jaden Daniels you got to keep him in the pocket as much as you can. It's easier said than done, but they cannot let Jaden Daniels get comfortable, whether that's running the ball whether that's getting out on the run and making throws. And I think that he was so perfect against Mississippi State last week, so that might make some people think that's what he does week in, week out. But he's not this savant who's airing it out constantly and picking secondaries apart with his arm. I think Arkansas has to see if he can do that 2 weeks in a row. I don't think LSU has a ton to offer them in the run game, so I don't think it's going to take some extra responsibility or anything. I don't think LSU is going to be able to run the ball consistently without Jaden Daniels. So I think that Arkansas just got to, like I said earlier, just got to keep this one ugly, have a special performance from KJ, and they just have to take advantage of every opportunity LSU gives them, which is something we saw them do defensively in the first 2 weeks of the season. So we'll see how they can do it. It's going to take not a perfect performance, but it's going to take a lot of things going Arkansas's way. But I definitely think this is a closer matchup than the 18-point spread indicates.
For what you get out of it real quick, Andrew, since you're from the area, if Razorback fans are making the trip, what's something that they need to check out as far as the game day or just leading up to it down there in Baton Rouge?
Well, the game day atmosphere has changed a little bit over the years with LSU. They used to have that nice parade ground area where it was just absolute havoc unleashed every week. They've cut down on it a little bit because they've had some weird, sketchy things happening. There's all kinds of bad things that happen in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. So I would recommend all Arkansas fans making the trip. Keep, head on a swivel. There's a lot of crazy LSU fans are absolutely nuts. Don't make eye contact with any of them. Don't engage with any of them. Watch out for drunk college kids throwing stuff at you. Be prepared to hear all kinds of nasty, grotesque things. Cover your kids' ears, all that type of stuff. But if you're looking for something to eat, Chime, which is kind of near that campus area. Chime's awesome restaurant with a rooftop and everything. Go to Chime's the day before the game. It's a great place to go.
Sounds like a great atmosphere where people are going to be, very, very ruthless and very rude. But, hey, that is the SEC for you. It just means more. But, Andrew, we appreciate it, man. Have a great weekend. We'll catch up with you next week, all right?
Absolutely. Sounds good. Y'all have a good one.
All right, it's Andrew House of FoxSports.com joining us. We got more Out of Bounds on a Wide Open Wednesday next.
It's the Average Guy Movie Review, Thursdays in the Zone, with me, Justin Acree, and Wes Moore, presented by Rock and Roll Sushi. Our friends from Rock and Roll Sushi will come in and recap or look ahead to what's trending on TV, the big screen, Netflix, or wherever you get your entertainment. It's presented by Rock and Roll Sushi, deliciously twisted flavors and a rock and roll vibe that'll blow your mind. rockandrollsushi.com.
This is Sports Center.
The Major League Baseball playoffs start in less than 2 weeks. So far, 4 teams have punched their tickets. In the AL East, both the Orioles and Rays are in. Then the NL East winning Braves and winners of the NL West, the Dodgers, are also in. So 8 spots remain open. In both the NL and the AL, it's going to come down to the wire. In the National League, the Phillies, Diamondbacks, and Cubs will be your wild card if the postseason started today. But the Marlins and the Reds are within a game of the Cubs for the final wild card spot. In the American League, the Blue Jays, Rangers, Mariners, and Astros are all within a game of each other. Only 2 wild card spots remain in the AL, as either the Rays or the Orioles will get the first wild card, depending on who finishes second place in the AL East. And the Arkansas Travelers opened postseason play with the win last night, beating the Springfield Cardinals 3-1. They can clinch the best-of-3 series tomorrow. I'm Christian Weaver with the Buzz Radio Network.
Ladies and gentlemen, the rumors are true. Your favorite sports bar is coming to North Little Rock. Brewski's is proud to announce a second location is coming to the Lakewood Shopping Center, and it won't be too long where you can get the same great pub grub, happy hour specials, and late night fun when it comes to North Little Rock. Voted the #1 sports bar in Little Rock for the last 4 years to catch all the games all year long. Get ready, North Little Rock. Brewski's North is coming soon. Brewski's, you're home for lunch, happy hour, and late night.
Hi, I'm Rick Pennington of Lions Drug. We have great news. Generic Cialis is now available at a huge savings. We have Tadalafil, the FDA-approved generic of Cialis, in a 20-milligram tablet at a savings of up to 80%. We have the 5-milligram daily tablets for less than $3 a pill. Lions Drug continues to be your go-to pharmacy for men's health. What are you waiting for? Call us today at 844-676-2247 or go to our website at lionsdrug.com.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack, but not with ZipRecruiter. Its powerful technology actively finds and invites qualified candidates to apply to your job. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you the needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
We're going abroad for the first time in years, to Spain. So we started using Babbel.
And started learning Spanish fast.
With Babbel, you can start having conversations in another language in just 3 weeks.
¿Cómo te llamas? ¿Cómo te llamas?
When you learn a language, you want to actually use it. Babbel is designed with that goal in mind.
In just 3 weeks, we're starting to have conversations in Spanish. Gracias, Babbel.
Babbel, language for life. Now try Babbel for free at Babbel.com. That's Babbel.com.
After I drop the kids off, I have to run across town for a meeting, hit the gym during lunch. Jake has soccer tonight, and Emily has gymnastics. Oh, did I turn on the crock pot this morning?
With a never-ending to-do list, it's easy to forget something important, like setting up a life insurance plan with Shelter Insurance. Your local Shelter agent can show you how to create a safety net for your family. Shelter Life Insurance Company, Columbia, Missouri.
See Shelter agent Matt Warden in Little Rock, Seth Hobbs in Bryant, or Nick Gennardi in Sherwood.
Trey Shapp and Chris Shinup with Arkansas Urology. Chris, it's the 19th annual Kickoff to Men's Health event, this time coming to North Little Rock.
Yeah, Trey, we've had a great month, and we're excited to get to our clinic in North Little Rock, 4200 Stockton Drive, on Thursday, September 28th.
Gentlemen 40 and over, it's time for them to get screened, is it not?
That's right. And like our CEO, Scott Davis, says, you come in for a free screen, and you might win a 65-inch flat screen TV.
501-263-0926 for more information. Sponsored by Baptist Health.
It's not just about the size of the meat, it's about where you get it from. So get it from Hoggs Meat Market in North Little Rock. Hoggs Meat Market, the steak people. You're listening to Out of Bounds with John Nabors and Joe Franklin.
Went to the liquor store. I loaded up with alcohol, more specifically vodka, whiskey, beer, tequila, more beer, more vodka, more whiskey, and more beer. Because I wasn't just going to sit around for a couple hours in Jonesboro. I was going to drink all night long.
On 103.7 The Buzz.
Yeah. And you say Shot City? Shot City? Shot City? I'm coming home again. Do you think about me now and then? Yeah. Do you think about me now and then? Cause I'm coming home again. I met this girl when I was 3 years old, and what I love most, she had so much soul. She said, excuse me, little homie, I know you don't know me, but my name is Wendy, and I like to and from that point, I never blow her off.
It's Out of Bounds here on a wide open Wednesday as we are moving through this show today, and it's been a lot of fun. We're actually, just as a little teaser, tomorrow, Matt Moscona of ESPN 104.5 Baton Rouge will join us in the 2 o'clock hour, get his take on, we'll preview from the LSU side of things and finding out what they are expecting down there in Baton Rouge. I have a feeling that they're expecting a win. Not an easy win. Maybe they're trying to be a little bit more humble, but some of them are probably expecting an easy win.
They expect every week.
Yeah. In Death Valley at 6 o'clock. You better believe it. But we'll talk to him tomorrow afternoon at 2 o'clock, so you won't want to miss that. We'll have some other things to dive into real quick, but let's quickly get Ray and Desark, who's on the line. What's up, Ray?
Hey, John Nabors.
Yes. Hey, Ray, we can't hear you, man. It's kind of breaking up on us.
Oh, can you hear me now?
Yeah, we got you.
I watched the morning show, and then I watched halftime, watched John Nabors. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we got you.
Okay. Anyway, I know John Nabors said something about, may have some T-shirts, coming up. You may give away, but I'd like to get one of those. But anyway, I used to work on riverboats on the Mississippi River, and I've been through Baton Rouge on a Saturday night with 3 diesel locomotives, or 3 diesel, the same engines that's in locomotives, running full force, and you can still hear that crowd roaring. from the Death Valley. You know, y'all talking about the loudness of it, you know. So anyway, yeah, it's pretty loud down there.
Yeah, is it roaring?
I've never, huh?
So you said it's like roaring, like tigers, like the cats. The cats are roaring.
No, I'm talking about the LSU Tigers.
Ah.
You know, and you can hear that over 3. I don't know if you ever seen locomotives go by. You know, when you get blocked by a train. You know, running full force.
It's loud, and the crowd is louder than that.
Mm-hmm.
They're louder than that,
Yeah.
and I stood out on a bridgeway, and you could hear the crowd over the diesel locomotives.
Ray, you still do the same type of work?
No, well, I got off the riverboat, and I worked for the railroad for 20 years. So, you know, I'm familiar with the locomotives and the diesel engines, but it's just I'm off on medical or disability now. But anyway, you know, I like to get a T-shirt from John Nabors if I could. I'm gonna beg for it, but I'm looking at him right now. He's like laughing at me.
Yeah. Well, hey, listen, Ray, I'm not laughing at you. We just hear your cat in the background, and it's really fun. I guess your cat wants to get on the line and talk a little Razorbacks too.
Well, you know, and I've talked to Ellison, you know, before, and
yeah,
he's got a cat, and you know, he's missing my cat, and but he probably needs to be fed. So other than that, but you know, go Hogs. I think you know we have a chance maybe this weekend to pull it out. But anyway, I'll hang up and let you know and listen.
All right, Ray.
We appreciate you listening, Ray.
Yeah, appreciate you listening, and hit me up for that shirt, man. I know you follow me on social media. Hit me up for that shirt, and I'll get it for you. So appreciate you calling in. Yeah, it was more about the cat that was there. That was cracking me up. But anyways, yeah, it's like I've heard so many people and talk about the legends, or at least the thing of Baton Rouge and Death Valley and how loud it can be down there, and that's something that you know, Arkansas fans and Arkansas players for sure. Just I don't know how you could replicate that as much in practice. You know, you can put crowd noise on speakers and whatnot, but I don't think it's something that you can just easily get used to or get ready for. It's a next level type of energy down there. That's for sure.
Well, yeah, you can try, but it's different. You know, once you get in the stadium, you can play some music, you can play it loud, you can do a bunch of different things, but until you're in that environment, it's not the same.
Yeah. Again, you can't just can't make it work any sort of way. And you know, some of those new players down there too, they're going to experience it for the first time. We just got a few minutes here. I did want to play this clip because dealing with the New York Jets and Tom Brady, because Tom Brady was on Sirius XM NFL radio and had, of course, you know, anytime you're going to have Tom Brady on, it's always a big deal. But when he gets asked about the situation with the New York Jets and whether or not he's going to go there, I thought his response was pretty appropriate, but also not surprising for Tom Brady.
The question everybody has been wondering is, have the Jets called, and are you considering the Jets?
No. Next question.
Asked and answered?
You already know. I love being with you guys on Mondays, and I love what we got going. You know, it's been fun the last couple of weeks. I said it's interesting not to watch and not have, like, and Fitz, you probably relate to this, to not feel like you're living and dying with every single score. You know, yeah, there's teams I root for and the players, but it's not like when you're in the game and you're, you know, they're Oh God, I hope they lose because that helps our position. You know, you just want to see your friends do well. Mike went for 160 or 170 this weekend. I was so happy for Mike. Yeah, you know, so seeing my friends do well is awesome to see. So I'm really enjoying this part of my life for sure.
So there you go. So you just put it to matter to rest. You guys not coming to the Jets. Like I think we all knew
or
that.
any team.
No, I think we knew that, or any team, and just you wanted to move on to the next question. So, but I kept waiting at what point in time was he going to respond to it, because it was going to get asked, whether it was on a podcast or on a radio show or on, ESPN or whatnot. Somebody was going to ask him, and he was going to get some sort of response. But he shut that down pretty quick. But I don't think anyone seriously was thinking that there was even a possibility. Hopefully not. Like there wasn't ever.
No. Couldn't have been.
Yeah, if he was going to come back, he would be coming back. And he was very selective of when he went to Tampa Bay, for instance, because he had kind of an open door of like, hey, where do you want to go? He wanted to go to a place where he felt like could win a Super Bowl with a great team, great band. Like he had to be very selective in that. I don't think he'd just be like, oh, yeah, the Jets are fine. I'll just go over there and make it work.
He would also have to forfeit a stake that he's trying to purchase in the Raiders, which there was a story here within the past couple of days that it hasn't been finalized just yet. So people were kind of leaning towards that to say, okay, the door may be cracked open for a chance for him to come back and play, but the process of that is still going on. And they actually put the rule specifically in place so that Tom Brady wouldn't be able to have a stake in the Raiders and then play for the Raiders.
Yeah, because how much of a stake is it, or is that just not up? Like they haven't not reported it or anything as far as how much of a stake.
I'm not
he's
sure the
looking to
detail on that has been reported.
Yeah, he's got plenty of money, so I think it's probably a good investment to go with the team that's in Vegas, regardless of if it's the Raiders or not. But Vegas, the way it's blowing up.
Yeah, he already has ownership in the Vegas Aces, the WNBA team, which is owned by Mark Davis. So they're business partners already, and he got into another venture with him.
Yeah, because isn't there somebody else that already has some sort of ownership or of note, like a former athlete, maybe in the Vegas Raiders, or am I thinking of somebody else? I don't know. It's hard to know. Without how much money that some of these guys have, especially with their branding, I know that they try to expand in different ways, but with the Washington Commanders, they've had their ownership and everything take place. Because is it Magic Johnson?
Yeah, he's part of the ownership group.
Okay, maybe that's what I got it mixed up with and what I was thinking of. But anyways, some other news of note, real quick, before we take our final break. So in the NFL, this was pretty crazy, but Alan Williams, who is the defensive coordinator for the Chicago Bears, resigns. Just officially resigns, as he's taking a step back and trying to take care of his health and his family. He appreciates the opportunity to work with the Bears and has a rich history. He says, I value the NFL Shield and all it stands for, but after taking some time to address my health, I plan on coming back and coaching once again. He's 53 years old. So pretty big news there.
Now, that's not the only story that was out there pertaining to the defensive coordinator there. There were some other things that factored into it.
Oh, okay. I guess I wasn't aware of those other things, but all right. I'll have to dive into those.
We'll make sure on that, but there were some reports of something else going on with the family there.
We'll look into that one. Maybe there's just, like so many stories when it comes to firings or resignings or mutual departings, whatever it may be. Sometimes there's a little bit more to the story than just that. But yeah, we'll look into that. But on the other side of the break, we'll get to 3 and Out, our final segment of the day. Some headlines, some storylines, some things we didn't get into. But I tell you what, real quick, because we got to do it. How about this? We'll make it easy on all of y'all today. First caller right now, 501-661-1037. You will be the qualifier, our first qualifier for the Little Rock Tours Southwest Classic package for a chance to get 2 tickets, a hotel room for 2 nights, and a round-trip transportation down to Arlington for Arkansas, Texas A&M. And we'll also kick in $103.70. And this is just to qualify, not to win, just to qualify. So if you want to qualify, be the first caller right now, 501-661-1037. We'll get you qualified for that, and we will get to more Out of Bounds and 3 and Outs in the final segment coming up next.
Are you ready for the biggest party of the year? Nickelback, with a live show unlike any other. September 25th, Simmons Bank Arena. Nickelback, the Get Rollin' Tour. With Brantley Gilbert and Josh Ross. Tickets on sale now at Ticketmaster.com. Get rolling and get your tickets now.
In a world of inflated car payments and sky-high interest, Guadney Buick GMC next to Sam's in North Little Rock is taking their inventory to the nines. Call 501-945-4444. Get Sierra 1500 with the 5.3 V8 engine at just 0.9%. Plus, Guadney will double down with an additional $3,250 off when trading in a 2009 or newer vehicle. Guadney Buick GMC hasn't left out SUVs. Get 2023 GMC Terrain at just 1.9%. Or 2024 Buick Encore GX at just 2.9%. And if you haven't noticed, the holidays are coming. So why not get all the way to 2024 with no payments for the rest of the year? Guadney Buick GMC, 5700 Landers Road in North Little Rock. Call 501-945-4444. Guadney Buick GMC.com. GMC, we are professional grade. All offers with approved credit.
Guadney for Buick, Guadney for GMC, Guadney for life.
David Dunn here with Central Arkansas Truck and Trailer. We're the area's largest and highest rated independent diesel repair facility for all makes and models, from transmissions and brakes to suspensions and engine repair. If you're tired of high dealership prices and long wait times, come see what family-owned and locally operated really means. Expert technicians and the latest computer diagnostics will get your equipment back on the road fast. Take the England exit on I-440 to Central Arkansas Truck and Trailer. 568-2185. That's Central Arkansas Truck and Trailer.
Hey, you. Yeah, you. This is your dentist. Do me a favor and feel the front of your teeth. How grimy are they? Ugh. It's time for a Crest Pro Health reality checkup. That grime is the buildup of plaque bacteria that can cause cavities in just months. You need to switch to Crest Pro Health. While most toothpaste stop working in minutes, Crest Pro Health's antibacterial fluoride protects for up to 12 hours to stop cavities before they start. So pick some up on the way home. Smile. Crest has you covered.
MVP's bonus days are back at Lowe's. Shop the largest selection of Klein tools and get 5 times the bonus points. Plus, right now, buy a DeWalt Power Stack battery kit and get a select DeWalt Bear tool free, up to a $249 value. Lowe's knows savings. Lowe's knows pros. Bonus points calculated before taxes and fees after applicable discounts, if any. Valid 9/18 through 9/29. Subject to change. DeWalt offer valid through 10/11.
Greenway is your local source for John Deere equipment and implements. Now, we've made finding the perfect piece of equipment even easier. Shop our tractor packages online at gogreenway.com. Till deeper with our down-to-earth package. Or save big with our Green Saver package. Need something with a little more muscle? Kick it up a notch with Greenway's Get In Gear package. We're here to support the DIYer in you. No matter what project comes your way, Greenway has you covered.
Fellas, Clint Sterner here. Let me get your attention real quick, man. If you've noticed a lack of energy, motivation, and drive, it could be low T. What's that mean? If you want to get back to feeling your best, you need to schedule your health assessment at Low T Center ASAP. It's quick, it's easy, and now it's convenient. Low T Center offers monitored self-inject at-home testosterone treatments for $155 a month, cash pay, or covered by most health insurance. If you don't live near a Low T Center or you just need the convenience of at-home treatment, Low T Center got you. They'll ship your treatments directly to your home. Go to lowtcenter.com now to book online. Low T Center, reinventing men's healthcare.
There's only one place to stop for the best in meats in Central Arkansas. It's Hoggs Meat Market. Check out their monthly package deals of the best meats online at hoggsmeatmarket.com. Hoggs Meat Market, the steak people.
Kane is in the building.
Their time is done. It's over.
Over? Did you say over?
Nonsense. I've not yet begun to defile myself.
Call Kenny Loggins because you're in the danger zone. I play real sports. I'm trying to be the best at exercising.
It's time for 3 and Out. It's been 3 hours, and we are...
Boom. Out of here.
All right, it is time for 3 and Outs. A few headlines, a few storylines, a few things that we got to dive into. First off, I thought it was pretty fascinating in the tennis world. We know that Rafael Nadal and Djokovic and just the stretch we've had of great tennis players has been nothing short of awesome. And it was pretty fascinating to kind of hear what they think about each other because there's a lot of respect there, a lot of great matches, especially in the Wimbledon. But how about this from Rafael Nadal, where he says, quote, "I believe that numbers are numbers and statistics are statistics. And in that sense, I believe Djokovic has better numbers than mine, and that is indisputable. This is the truth. The rest are taste, inspiration, sensations that one or the other may transmit to you. You may like one or other more, but I think that with respect to titles, Djokovic is the best in history, and there's nothing to discuss about that. So a lot of respect, but also high praise from what some people would consider to be the GOAT. And Rafael Nadal saying that he believes Djokovic is the GOAT is pretty impressive and pretty high marks.
It's official that Saquon Barkley is out for Thursday Night Football versus the Niners. He's dealing with an ankle injury on a short week. They play tomorrow night, and it was expected that he probably was going to miss the game, but they kept the optimism and kind of kept everybody guessing as to whether he would be available. It's official. He's out.
So I saw the renderings of the Tampa Bay Rays and the new proposed ballpark that they're trying to build there in Tampa, St. Petersburg. It's planned to be ready by opening day in 2028. And I saw it, and it's, incredible. Like every single new stadium that's getting proposed or getting built is always incredible. But my first thought was like, yeah, that's great, but you guys can't even fill that stadium now. And you're going to have this new ballpark, which will be great, but you're still probably not going to fill that one either. And it looks really cool and all that. And I know that that's the main part about it. And you got to keep up with the times. But it's just funny to me that a stadium that can't even fill out their own stadium now is building a new one where brand new still won't be able to fill out the stadium.
Miami Hurricanes tight end Cam McCormick, he filed a petition with the ACC in hopes of receiving a 9th year of eligibility in 2024. He's 25 years old. He began his college career with Oregon, and the request that he's making with the ACC had previously been approved by the Pac-12 before transferring to Miami. Now, he was sidelined for nearly 3 years because of a broken ankle, made attempts to come back, and he wasn't able to over a 3-year stretch. But last year, he returned and played 13 games for Oregon, and then he transferred to Miami. So he had already gotten the request approved in the Pac-12, and now he's trying to get it in the ACC to be able to play at least a second year for the Miami Hurricanes.
So, in other news, too, as far as an update from NIL, it's always a crazy thing. Well, how about this? For those of you who still believe that NIL should be the Wild West, Ohio State AD Gene Smith said the quiet part out loud in an NIL hearing on the Hill during his testimony, where he says, quote, a practice of asking a school for a fee just to simply visit that campus has emerged, where the asking fee of $5,000 has become extremely common just for a visit. And reports are saying that many players, not only just the highly caliber ones, but the ones that think they're high caliber, have been asking for fees just for visit. So it keeps becoming crazier and crazier. And it looks like if that's the case, then even some of these high school kids, before they even step foot on campus, are getting some serious money just for the visits themselves.
Kim Kardashian and Odell Beckham Jr. are said to be hanging out, and that's from an insider that is close. And there are multiple sources that confirm that Odell Beckham Jr. and his longtime girlfriend, Lauren Wood, have officially split. Odell Beckham Jr. currently dealing with an injury, so we already know what's to come of this, that Kim Kardashian is going to be the blame for Odell Beckham dealing with an injury right now. And reps for both Kim Kardashian and Odell Beckham Jr. did not respond to requests and comments on the situation.
So there's, according to the New York Post, internet sleuths believe that Deshaun Watson has created a burner account called Gainesville Zone. And after the Browns lost, of course, to Pittsburgh on Monday night, and the account handle references Watson's hometown of Gainesville, even though it's spelled wrong, and defended the quarterback who struggled Monday. And with a disappointing loss to the field's frustrations for fans, some took to X, formerly known as Twitter, to lay out on scrutiny. And there's a lot of tweets where they just continue to talk about anybody who's talking trash, saying Watson has a terrible offensive line. It's terrible play calling. It's not his fault. And there's more evidence just looking at who the likes are, who the follows are, and all trying to put it together. But it looks like if that's the case, Deshaun Watson does have a burner account, and everyone's like, there's no way. Well, you know what? In this day and age, I assume that every athlete has a burner account because it seems to be a common practice these days. But it looks like Deshaun Watson has been outed for his.
Sammy Sheen, who is Charlie Sheen and Denise Richards' daughter, said that she wants to get an augmentation on her body. But she said what she has to do is quit vaping to be able to go through with it. And she said that this is something that honestly may save her life because she's tried to quit multiple times and failed, but knowing that she really wants to have this procedure done and knowing that she has to quit vaping and able to be able to do it and go through the surgery, then it's going to make her quit vaping. And she said it may honestly save her life in going through the process.
So the Miami Hurricanes have a tight end named Cam McCormick.
Just talked about that.
Oh, you did?
Yeah. That's the tight end that has the 9th year of eligibility.
Was that today? We just talked about it
just like 3 minutes ago.
Okay. Wow. I thought for some reason I thought that it was some other story. So how about that? Okay. Well, apparently though, in other news, Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom. That's a new movie that's coming out. That's part of DC. It's so bad. And the ratings have been coming out, and at least the reviews of the early part of it's been so bad that audience members are walking out of those test screenings. And for those of you who love those superhero movies, especially those that enjoy the part of whether it's Marvel or DC and continuing on with the universe, it seems like it's getting worse and worse. And superhero movies are continuing to just take a spiral down. Feel that that one's not a good one, apparently, and it's been really bad if they're already walking out of test screenings for it, too.
Tom DeLonge from Blink 182 admits that he had no desire to return to music until he heard of Mark Hoppus's cancer battle. He said, I remember telling my wife I don't ever want to play music again. I don't ever want to go on tour again. And then once Mark Hoppus told him about his illness and that he was battling cancer, he said at that point, it was like nothing else really matters. Let's bring this back together. Let's go on tour and have a good time like we always did.
So people who clean their houses and like to keep it in check and try to make it the nicest that they possibly can. According to a news report, the average person considers their home completely clean for only 11 days out of the year, and people spend an average of 6 days per year actually cleaning your homes. And it depends on how you look at it. What's clean? Is it picked up or is it actually clean, completely clean? It's not really to be determined by those people, but as far as the clean house, and when you say you have a clean house, it's only for 11 days out of the year, which shows just how dirty of a people we actually are.
Giselle said that it's been a very tough time going through the process of being divorced from Tom Brady, but she said it's been tough on the family. She says it's been very tough on my family. It's been a lot in every area of my life. I feel like whenever it rains, it pours. With all the different twists and turns that life takes, all you can do is the best that you can. We've been given what happens in our surroundings.
Well, appreciate everybody listening in Out of Bounds today. For Joe Franklin, I am John Nabors. Same sports show, same sports channel. Tomorrow afternoon, you better stay tuned, folks, because we got Drive Time Sports coming up next.
For 20 years, Kelly Vick suffered from chronic back pain.